All right. Welcome to the For Your Speculation Oscar Predictions Zoom call. With me is Rachel and Erik and Cesco and Matt. Sorry, not Matt, John and Rob. Matt is not joining us today. But look, we're all ready. We have shirts.
Except for me, sorry.
Special guest star Nicole Kidman is here.
And heartbreak. Heartbreak is really the overwhelming theme of this episode because I'm sure there will be heartbreak for people on Tuesday.
Oh, this whole award season.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel good in a place like this. No, it doesn't. She's a liar.
And just to make this shirt worse than it already is, my apartment is so cold and it's so cold in New York that I have to wear it over a turtleneck sweater. So
That's
I'm
okay.
layered, and I have a heated blanket on my lap right now.
My God,
It's gonna
I
be
almost feel bad.
I do too. You mean enjoying the 65-degree weather today?
Yeah, we've got next week is like in the 80s.
Yeah, you guys are hitting the 80s. We're hitting the 70s. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like
Thanks,
20.
climate change.
All right, we've
It's
got
winter.
9 categories to go through today.
Right.
We're going to do
Okay.
screenplays, we're going to do international feature, the acting categories, directing, picture. We're going to do our predictions and also do an FYC. And we're going to start with best original screenplay. So Erik, why don't you start us off?
Oh my God, with my predictions.
I have notes.
All right. Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Don't Look Up, Being the Ricardos, and King Richard. And then my FYC.
Mm-hmm.
My FYC would be Parallel Mothers.
Does anyone have a different set of predictions?
I just have a question, Erik. Were you reading those in like order of likelihood? Because it wasn't alphabetical.
That's a good point. Oh no, I think when I put my predictions together, because I also have like whatever things that they've been nominated for and won, like in that specific category. So Belfast being
As the most.
one is because it won the Globe and it would have been nominated for WGA if it was eligible. So it's more about likelihood for my orders. All my orders are likelihood.
Oh,
I have mine alphabetical.
That's just me.
okay.
Cesco, you mentioned you had a different lineup.
Yeah, because I was looking at my mustache. Did you have Come On in?
No, I don't. It is my spoiler.
Okay.
And we can talk about why that makes sense as a nominee in a little bit.
Because I have Ricardo's, Belfast, Don't Look Up, Licorice Pizza, and Come On.
I have the exact same 5.
I am halfway between King Richard and Come On. I had Come On, and then Erik said his, then I deleted it, and I put King Richard. So I don't know what I have for the 5th one, but it's one of those two.
Yeah.
I have a different FYC
What's your FYC?
to prove that I actually watch movies. Shiva Baby,
Oh, yes.
so good.
Cesco, what's your FYC for this category?
Itan.
And Rob, yours?
I didn't know we were supposed to do that. Attention to detail.
I'll come back to you.
I put as my like runner up. I didn't put my FYC. So let me think about that one real quick. All right.
John, what about you?
Well, I'm gonna. Well, so this is the thing with the screenplay categories is like I can't find the one film that's going to be nominated for just screenplay and nothing else,
That's the thing.
which is always seems to happen, and so it's like every on both categories, all my predictions are like ones that are going to be showing up in other categories. So I'm going to say fuck it and get rid of King Richard and say come on. I'll go on the come on train.
It would fit that bill, and it's been since 2003.
And I know the King Richard screenplay has been showing up a lot, but I don't feel like anyone's like talking about it in terms of it being an amazing screenplay. You know what I mean? Like it's all about the performances. So
Green Book won screenplay, but yeah.
But I mean, fair. So they're
No, come on makes perfect sense, which is why it's my spoiler, because
He's done it before.
He's done it before, and like I said, 2003 across both categories, although it's mostly in original.
My FYC would also be Parallel Mothers, but my sixth place, I have Mass,
Oh.
which would fit the bill of, but we'll see. I don't think it's getting in, but
Yeah.
It's a shame. They didn't do a really good job with that movie. They kind of buried it. It needed one fall festival, just one. But yeah.
They just counted on waiting to the end of the year for these in-person events and stuff like that, and it's just not enough for a movie like that. A movie like that needed so much more. But I don't know.
Oh,
Bleecker Street is not the best at it, so.
My FYC is Pig, by the way.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna go with Parallel Mothers for original screenplay as my FYC. Parallel Moms.
Parallel Mom.
And I could
Parallel-
Side by side mamas.
I could also see a universe where the French Dispatch sneaks in just because of the
yeah.
branding of Wes Anderson, but
Absolutely.
Ay, Dios míos.
no, I didn't predict him.
So those of you who put in a Come On as your fifth, the one that you took out is King Richard.
Yes. Gladly.
And I would. I mean, it is my fifth. Like I said, mine is in order of what I think the likelihood is. So it's,
And
if King Richard is out, then it's absolutely Come On. Although, why is that movie done so poorly?
I know, it's
Even
terrible.
20th Century Women did better.
It was so good. So good.
It's just blanked, absolutely blanked, other than, the Woody Norman, but everybody, that was an easy prediction for BAFTA.
all right, we
I
can
also-
move on to adapted screenplay.
Cool.
Why don't Rob, why don't you start us off with adapted screenplay?
Okie doke. Coda, Drive My Car, Lost Daughter, Power of the Dog, Tragedy of Macbeth, and then my FYC is Passing.
Rachel, what about yours?
Interesting. Mine are also alphabetical, so not in order of how I think it's going to happen. I have Coda, Dune, Drive My Car, Lost Daughter, Power of the Dog, and my FYC is Tick Tick Boom, and I can give you a lot of reasons why that is my FYC. The adaptation of the musical actually improved on the original source material and made it into something completely different, and that's why I'm FYCing Tick Tick Boom for adapted screenplay.
John, your list?
I just want to echo what Rachel said about Tick Tick Boom. Is you could tell by watching that movie, like the original musical had its problems. Like it wasn't a fantastic musical, but the movie made it much more fun and much more I don't know, just visual and fun. I don't know. I think Rachel is absolutely right. As always. My 5 are Power of the Dog, Lost Daughter, Coda, Dune, and Drive My Car. And my FYC is The Tender Bar. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to say The Green Knight, which is also one I toyed with, being like that could be a surprise single nominee. But I think it's also might show up in a tech or two, so I don't know. I didn't go down that road.
Cesco, your predictions?
Coda, Drive My Car, Dune, Lost Daughter, Power of the Dog. My FYC would be compartment number 6.
Erik?
Same 5, different order. Power of the Dog, Coda, Lost Daughter, Drive My Car, Dune. FYC, I mean, Rachel makes such a great case for Tick Tick Boom. And I feel like Tragedy of Macbeth is the same thing. And I think that might be where I would pick, because I think the changes that Joel Coen made were so clever and smart. And I think that's my pick. But I love Tick Tick Boom so much.
My 5 here are Coda, Drive My Car, Lost Daughter, Power of the Dog, and I'm still sticking with West Side Story because of Tony Kushner. My FYC would be for Zola to show up.
Yeah.
So Alfie, you and I are the only ones that are not predicting Dune.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm not sold on it though. I have it in because I couldn't find anything else that I could swap it out with in a convincing way.
Did you pick?
Yeah,
did you
it's
pick
my number
tragedy?
5, but yeah.
No.
Okay, so I'm going with tragedy. Also, very similar to what Eric's rationale is.
There's something
It's up there, but
It's
yeah.
hard to know how that movie is going to play. It's either going to be like Denzel and cinematography, and that's it,
right?
or maybe like 4.
Or it's going to be like The Father, and all of a sudden it's in a bunch of top categories.
I just think that having Cohen, I think of like when they got in for Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I mean, it just seems very like
Ballad of Buster Scruggs.
Well, there you go. That one too. Exactly.
That alone should be enough to.
I think just
have all of us put it at number 5.
I think that when they make a movie, they're almost automatic, almost like back in the day when during the Woody Allen days.
Yeah. My spoiler is actually West Side Story, though. It's not even Tragedy of Macbeth.
That's what I'm saying. There's usually like a smaller movie that I'm like, this looks like it's gonna sneak in, even though it's wildly underrated. And I could not find that here.
I think it's because Drive My Car sort of is that movie.
Mhm.
Even though it's the predicted one, it's also that movie.
Mm-hmm.
But like we all have Drive My Car in, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm thinking of like a smaller movie that maybe is in like 2 out of 6 predictions from like the people and then it sneaks in, but there isn't one. And I looked. I'm like, no, none of them.
And it's really weird of that 5 that's pretty consistent with us. Eligibility issues aside, Dune is the only one that's gotten everything. It has.
I'm keeping Dune in just because I imagine it's going to be, if not the nomination leader, it'll be close or tied. Also, it's by far the hardest adaptation, I think, of any of the other. So I think just from a difficulty standpoint, people will be like, wow, they adapted that clusterfuck of a book into something that's not bad.
Yeah.
That
was my feeling as well, that everyone always says, oh, that book was unadaptable and unfilmable, but they did it, so.
Yeah.
It kind of remains unadaptable, but okay.
I agree with that too.
My pause with predicting Dune is that it's sci-fi and like we know they're a version.
That's true.
But also like the fact that the next in lines are Macbeth, West Side Story, Tick Tick Boom. Those are all musicals and plays that like Shakespeare adaptations don't show up here. Musicals don't show up here. It's just like they all have like minuses against them. And so I'm thinking the same thing, like what else could show up here? And I wonder if there's enough support to get Rebecca Hall in here for passing, which would be, 4 women, nominated.
Oh, wow.
And we're already getting 3, most likely.
Yeah, and that was an early prediction for me for months and months, is that we were going to have 4 out of 5 nominees be women, and passing just sort of started just dissipating a little bit, and Ruth Negga was really the only thing that was.
It's so weird that this movie does not exist outside of her, because there are things about it that I think are worthwhile. The cinematography and literally it does not exist apart from her performance.
Didn't Thompson get the BAFTA nomination?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It has better black and white cinematography than Belfast.
Most things do. Yeah.
I mean, the cinematography in Belfast is so pointless. It's like first year film student stuff. Like, yes, let's shoot this like super low angle for absolutely no reason.
I'm going to bring that up when we get to director.
There we go.
All right.
Guys, there's a lobotomy on the agenda for today.
We're now going to move on to international feature.
Yes.
In honor of Rachel.
We all want the Yak movie from Bhutan to win, right?
I think it absolutely could get in.
Because that would be amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped ahead.
John, why don't you start us off with your predictions?
All right. I have Prayers for the Stolen, Hand of God, Flee, Hive, and Drive My Car.
Ooh.
So I'll talk you through the logic. Do I have to do an FYC for this? 'Cause I haven't seen enough to do an
If you
FYC.
have one, yeah.
I mean, my FYC would be Hand of God. So, Prayers of the Stolen got in at DGA for first feature, so that's why I'm picking that. Hive is from Kosovo, and just those two words together seem like a really super foreign film nominee, right?
Okay, so the logic is, it's like logic is being,
It's like collective, it's like the strong one word from an Eastern European country.
Yeah.
And then I feel like there's going to be some high profile snubbery, and I feel like, so I'm predicting a snub for a hero, even though I probably shouldn't. And then my thought with the worst person in the world not showing up is that this is usually such an overly serious category that comedy, I mean, Amelie was nominated, but it didn't win because it was arguably more lighthearted than it lost to a Eastern European war film, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, worst person is like a cancer storyline.
Oh, I thought it was a comedy, like a rom-com.
It's that too.
Partially.
But
Yeah.
There is a lot of sad stuff happening.
Okay,
Too.
then maybe I'll change my mind. But that at least was my logic going into this. I'm done.
All right. Rob?
I have Drive My Car, Hand of God, Worst Person in the World, Flee, A Hero, and my FYC is compartment number 6.
All right. Cesco?
Maybe I have the same as Rob. Drive My Car, Flee, Hand of God, Hero, Worst Person in the World. I don't have an FYC because these are literally my favorite 5 out of the bunch.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen almost all of them. And not to say that the others aren't great. Prayers of the Stolen is a wonderful movie. Playground is a wonderful movie. These are just, I think, the best 5 of the bunch. And I'm not super sold that it's going to be these 5. I think these are the 5 that sort of like everybody's expecting to get a nomination. So I'm probably wrong, but yeah.
So last year, like Better Days and Man Who Sold His Skin kind of slipped in there.
Exactly.
Right.
I almost have to expect that now.
Eric, what are your 5?
Drive My Car, Hand of God, A Hero, Flee, and Playground. And I did have Prayers for the Stolen for the longest time, and like John, I used the same metric of that DGA nomination, and then I remembered that it didn't work out for Mexico when that happened last year, and I was just like, all right, so maybe it's not as impactful as I thought that it was. And I do have Worst Person Out. It did pretty poorly at the European Film Awards. It didn't get picture or director, and that was kind of gave me some pause, but it is my FYC because it is a fucking brilliant movie.
Rachel?
I feel like something is wrong and the universe is like tilted off of its axis because I have the same 5 that Cesco and Rob have. So
Thank you for the endorsement.
Cheers.
The only way that it could happen is if the world was off of its axis. Congrats, guys.
I got the same as these 2 idiots. So
exact opposite meaning of like, did I actually do my homework appropriately? Did I match with the person who has this category as their favorite category? So yeah, I have Drive My Car, Flee, Hand of God, A Hero, Worst Person in the World. And actually the homework that I did was which 5 have I heard of?
sounds about right.
Yep.
I'm more confident in my predictions now.
Me too.
I mean, everybody can vote on these now, even the nominees.
So it might be more of a
It could be really basic, but then, like Rob said, we got the 2 surprises last year. So I don't think people are at that show. People aren't just like blind voting, or I think people are voting for things that actually get seen.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm going with Drive My Car, Flee, Hand of God, Prayers for the Stolen, and Worst Person in the World. I'm also not predicting a hero like John's not predicting. I'm going with Prayers for the Stolen because it's from Mexico, and I feel like I need to.
Yeah.
I predicted Mexico last year, but I knew that wasn't going to happen. So, but this one feels like maybe the subject matter is a little bit more friendlier for Oscar voters. So, but I also think that I'm Your Man from Germany is also possibly another one that people might have heard of because Dan Stevens is in it, and so that might also show up out of nowhere.
And also, the Good Boss from Spain. A lot of people have seen it and are talking about it on Twitter. And Javier Bardem is in it, so it's not the best movie.
It's not Parallel Mothers.
No.
Was there? Did I miss the reason why that was their choice instead of Parallel Mothers?
Because Parallel Mothers is too political, and it's kind of like an indictment of how Spain has sort of like handled the post-Franco sort of like political landscape in Spain, with censorship and kind of like erasure, and they were not going to send that.
Gotcha.
They also wanted to start shit in the Cruz Bardem household, so.
We're gonna break that marriage up with last thing to do.
These people are too attractive. They should not be together.
Okay, so now we can move on to our first acting category, supporting actress, which I think
Go.
pretty easy, I think.
Yeah.
Cesco, why don't you start us off?
I feel like I have the same 5 as everybody else. Katrina Balfe, Ariana DeBose, Kristen Dunst, Anjanou Ellis, and Ruth Negga. Just because these are pretty much, there's no other combination that to me makes as much sense as these 5. And I've sort of like played around with other names. I had Negga out for a while. Also, I saw Passing, and she is definitely the best thing about it. And she's actually brilliant in the movie. Yeah, and she's managed to really sort of like establish herself. She's really carrying that movie. That movie does not exist outside of her, which I think says something about how much people liked her specifically in that movie. Could I see a situation where one or two of these people miss? Yes, I just don't think it's likely.
Who's your FYC?
My FYC would be Harriet Simpson Harris in Licorice Pizza.
John, your list.
I have the same: Dunst, Ellis, Balfe, DeBose, and Negga. It's been so hard for me to take Moreno out just because, like, the historicness of that possibility. But she only showed up at Critics' Choice, and West Side is fading fast. So, yeah, I have the same as Cesco.
Who's your FYC here?
I'll come back to me. I'm deciding.
All right, Erik.
I have the same 5.
Oh my God, we're all gonna be wrong.
Both Alice and Negga. Although I do think that Judi Dench is an absolute like nuclear bomb of a spoiler here. But my FYC is Catherine Hunter, Tragedy Macbeth.
Who would you take out for Dench though? Of these 5?
Since I have it in order, Negga is number 5 for me.
Okay.
Even though I feel like she's also one of the easiest locks because she's been kind of lockstep all the way. I mean, I guess Ellis missing SAG was a thing, but this 5 feels so airtight. Like
this feels like Best Actress last year to me.
Like 5, I don't know, and you get it right. I would like to examine your brain for science.
Sorry to interject. How often do the Globes go 5 for 5 in the supporting category?
It happens like
more often than you think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more drama actress, like lead actress, but
yeah. It doesn't always line up in terms of the winner, but the there's, I think, a really good match in terms of the nominees.
Yeah, we don't get a Jodie Foster here every year.
Gotcha.
Yes.
In my head, I was like, oh, there's always an Emily Blunt, but I guess that's not true.
There is always Emily Blunt, though, just in general.
Rachel, what about your list?
My list is the exact same 5, and for my
God.
FYC, I picked someone, but I talked to Alfie offline yesterday, and I knew he was picking this person, so I thought, I'll switch mine and I'll shine a light on somebody else who's not going to get mentioned, but then Erik just mentioned my second choice, so I was going to say Olga Merediz for...
Yes, that's my FYC.
And then, but I knew that Alfie was, of course, going to take one for the team there. So then I said, okay, I'll switch it to my second choice, Catherine Hunter. But then Erik stole that one.
All right.
Wait, who was your first choice?
Olga Merediz from In the Heights.
Yes.
All right, and then Rob.
I have the same 5. It was funny with the last one. I'm not, Erik, you said pretty airtight. I'm so skeptical about Dunn's dropping out just because she's kind of been inconsistent, and it's really going to be if Power of the Dog really just jams through and gets a bunch of nominations. But
I think she's winning SAG. I just want to go on record.
I still have her as
BAFTA, though, in a juried vote, and she has the second most critic wins after DeBose.
I know,
she's
I know,
not
but
been
I have her as my number 5. But I'm a little nervous, but I still have her as 5. And then so I have DeBose, Balfe, Ellis, Nega, and Dunst. And then my FYI, and I don't know the actress's name, is the actress that played the driver in Drive My Car. She's my FYC.
That's pretty cool.
I thought she was fantastic. I love her. I wish she was I hope I would pick her to win, but she's not even. She's not going to get nominated.
I had her in actress for the longest time, actually.
I
I've like 2
kept
months.
going back and forth if she was lead or supporting, so I threw her in supporting. But I love that performance. She was so good. But
Tokumiura.
she's my FYC.
Yeah.
And then it
So-
would be Ann Dowd after that.
So I have the same 5 as everyone else.
So we're all wrong.
We're all wrong.
We're wrong.
My FYC, you all have mentioned all my FYCs.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Olga. I was gonna say the driver from Drive My Car. I was gonna say Harriet Sampson Harris. I was gonna say Catherine Hunter. It's like all of my choices have been taken. I was gonna mention Ann Dowd. You already mentioned her as well. So you know who I'm gonna say, and I keep forgetting how to pronounce her last name, but Dagmara, however you say her last name, from Lost Daughter.
Dagmara Dominchek,
Patrick
yeah.
Wilson's wife.
She's so good.
She, like, I know Jessie Buckley's still like trying to get in, like, and she got that BAFTA nod, but like she was amazing.
She was
Look at her.
Was she the one
Succession, and then look at her in Lost Daughter. How is this the same person? It's amazing. She's incredible.
was she kind of the kind of that obnoxious woman who kind of was saying, "Are you from Jersey?"
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. She was good.
The friend. Yeah. The other performance that hasn't been mentioned that I also really like is Rebecca Ferguson from Dune, but was not strong enough for my FYC.
Remember when people thought she was 100% gonna get in?
Oh my God, the fanatics that were like, I swear.
But I will say Charlotte Rampling is
Thank you.
probably gonna
Charlotte
get
Rampling is the one that should be.
Thank you.
She might get a Lucy Award nomination for best limited screen time performance.
As she should.
Anyone
Put her
that's
in for
nominated
Best Actress. Who cares?
I have a question though. Who's in 5th for everyone in this lineup? This
Nega.
Yeah,
Balfe.
yeah,
What
between
is Balfe? What is Balfe gonna do? Sorry. It's like, yeah.
she's the Berenice Bejo of this year. She's just along for the ride in the black and white film.
I had her winning for months and months and months until DeBose.
I mean, not in October, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Because she is that borderline lead supporting too.
it's not the type of performance when I'm looking at, you know, all these 5 ladies that it's going to get a lot of #1 placements. I don't think she's going to be in there, and people that like Belfast probably like, oh yeah, I'm going to shove her in. But yeah, I don't think
Belfast.
Belfast.
Yeah. I'm gonna use that later. I know.
She also has the most ridiculous scene in the movie, which is dragging her kids to return the stuff. Like,
there is no excuse for that scene to even exist.
that is when I started just sort of like divorcing myself from the movie. As I was watching in the theater, I was like, no.
Not only would it be horrible in any movie, it makes zero sense in this one, since the entire movie up to that point has been the overprotection of that kid, even when like someone's playing stickball in the street.
Right.
So absolutely the fuck not that scene. Just to get them
there
to
were
the
choices
next
made in that movie that left me wondering.
Which is also why it should be nominated for screenplay, because it is such a lazy thing for it to do, because all that scene is to get them to like the street standoff. That's it. That's the only reason it's there.
Right.
That should be a category at award shows, an absolutely the fuck not category. It could be a scene, a performance, a costume.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
I still don't understand. I can't wrap my head around Marlee Matlin being such a non-presence outside of that Gotham nomination this year. Like,
she's kind of a non-presence in the movie. I'm sorry. It's just kind of, she's there. She's in it. I went in thinking, okay, this is going to be like a media role and she's going to have a lot of fun with it. She's a great actress. She's barely in it. She has one scene with her daughter that doesn't really, it doesn't even come close to the scene that Troy Kotsur has with Amelia, which is I think the kind of like moment where people were like, this guy is good, he deserves an Oscar nomination. She doesn't have that.
Right. It's just a previous Oscar winner who's been campaigning since last year, like in a movie that is just hitting all the right places. And I guess they all just realized like the performance wasn't enough.
I mean, if it's not enough for Moreno, I don't think it's enough for her.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Speaking of Troy Kotsur, we can move on to supporting actor. This category is
God bless. Have fun.
This is a category that normally we hate, but like.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun with this actually. This time around, this is good stuff in here. Yeah.
There's a lot of contenders still in play, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Rob, you can start us off for this one.
Okay, so I have Troy Kotsur, Ciarán Hinds, Bradley Cooper, Cody Smith McPhee, and I also think this is going to be a double play. So I'm also picking Clemens as the fifth. I'm just thinking, I think Power of the Dog is going to do really well on Tuesday. So I think he's going to be part of this group. And my FYC, I was stuck on, there was a lot of, I was stuck between Reed Birney and Robin De Jesus. So those are my two FYCs. But if I had a gun to my head, I'd probably pick Reed Birney, just a hair above Robin De Jesus.
Erik, what's your lineup?
The same as Rob's: Demon Twink, Troy Kotsur, Ciarán Hinds, Bradley Cooper, Jesse Plemons, and my FYC is Demon Twink Part 2, Mike Feist.
Who is that?
Cesco, your lineup?
I have the same 5.
I had Plemons in even before BAFTA, even though I knew he was going to get in BAFTA.
I just put Cooper back in after BAFTA. I have Cooper, Hinds, Kotsur, Plemons, and McPhee. My FYC would be Vincent Lindon in Titan. Call me, I can fix you. But then, yeah, we're wrong. Then we're wrong. What are we not seeing?
I
Okay.
don't know.
I normally go last, but I have the same 5.
No. Get hosed on Tuesday.
Okay, this made sense in supporting actress, and I actually thought that all of us agreeing is actually a good thing. This is scary.
I don't have the same.
Okay, my FYC is Coleman Domingo from Zola, because
Yeah.
Rachel, what's your list?
I don't have the same because I decided to just take one for the team and assess the worst possible outcome. And then if I'm wrong, then I'll be happy because I'm wrong. And if I'm right, I'll be miserable, but like at least I got a point in the pool.
Don't say it.
I know it. I know what you're gonna say.
She's gonna take. I know.
Can we bleep it?
Am I wrong? It's a possibility.
Well,
No,
who are
he's my
you
number.
dropping?
He's my number 6, and he is more than a possibility. He's probably making it in.
Jet, man. I was struggling.
I don't have Clemens. I have
Can we just not say his name?
Voldemort.
Let's just not say it.
A previous winner.
I have a previous winner, Voldemort.
Can we just call him Pepperoni Face?
I was just gonna say, can we just call him like lasagna marinara?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this is what I want to happen.
Trust me. I had him.
Don't lie, Rachel. He's your FYC.
But there's a person in a category that we have not discussed yet who is way, way stronger than I anticipated they would be. No, my FYC was actually the same as Eric's, Mike Feist, who was hands down the single best part of that movie, and I loved that movie. That
Stunning.
role is never the standout role in West Side Story. It just is not. But he did things with it that I've never, and he like unpeeled layers of that onion that I've never seen with Riff before. And I was so happy that he got that BAFTA
Yeah.
nomination.
I would unpeel that onion.
Demon Twink Part 2. What if this
Demon
category
Part
has
2.
Demon Twinks?
What if they both get in? Don't even say that, because like my category could just be full of them.
So I'm the only
Best supporting
person
twink.
who was predicting Voldemort or lasagna marinara. I'm the only
Right.
one.
You are.
John, what's your
close.
lineup?
I
'Cause we-
kept going back and forth.
Mine. I have mostly the same, but I have Kotzer, Cody, Kieran, all the K, C's, the hard CKs. Then Bradley Cooper, also, and J.K. Simmons.
Oh.
Okay. That's why I took out for Cooper. Yeah.
Just because if there's going to be like a sort of surprise from a movie that's getting nominated elsewhere, I feel like Simmons being a past winner puts him ahead of Clemens.
There's another past winner who shall not be named.
Ben Affleck? Who? Oh, God. What am I so? Yes, no. Not him. My FYC is Timothy Spall from Spencer.
Oh.
Just because he was so perfectly cast in that role, and it was not a performance I was expecting going into that movie. I had something else I was going to say, and then I lost it. I was toying with the no guts, no glory thing here, like a random. I think Lakeith Stanfield's going to fuck us up for a number of years because we're all going to be trying to predict the wildest fucking shit that possibly happened, even though that's like a once in a century kind of thing. But I was toying with the idea of not He Who Shall Not Be Named getting in, but an Al Pacino showing up, which is insane. But I was like, well, if anyone could pull something off like that, it's Al Pacino.
Like in Best Actor.
I got very
but in Best Actor.
I got very close to like officially predicting McDormand in supporting.
Mm-hmm.
Very close.
Her, yeah.
But I just want to be clear, I'm not doing that.
No.
But I toyed with it. And then Mike Face could definitely show up. But my feeling is like West Side Story is fading, so it'd be a weird time for him to surge.
Mm-hmm.
But
the whole movie would have to surge big time with the Academy in a way that it has not so far, which is possible.
I mean, I think it might still do okay just because of the history it has with the Oscars specifically, and with Spielberg. But yeah, it's definitely on the wane.
My other FYC that no one mentioned would be Woody Norman. I also wanted to give him a shout out, although I could see him straddling the line between lead and supporting.
He's the lead in that movie by not even
But I also think it's interesting that we all have dumped Jamie Dornan as not being the second Belfast. Like it's not happening.
I don't think I ever had him in.
Never.
I had him in the very beginning.
I did.
People got really mad at me. People got really mad at me.
If it was for Barb and Star, I'd put him in a heartbeat.
Thank you. I literally put that in my write-up. I'm like, he's not getting in, but he should get in for Barb and Star.
If he shows up and Dent shows up, is it over? If they both get in?
I have to imagine so.
Like that means they're just crazy for Belfast.
That mean we'd be talking four supporting nomination. That would be really crazy. No, that would be the end of it.
Yeah.
I think although
As long as it hit,
I don't see it.
Editing.
Yeah.
As long as it hit editing.
Although Demon Twink is the odds-on favorite, I still think there's a possibility that Kotzer could win this category.
Definitely.
I know a lot of people who think that he's going to win.
Definitely.
Yeah, there's a strong narrative there, and Coda is going to show up in a lot of places and not really have any other chances to get love, but Power of the Dog is going to have a lot of other chances to have some big wins. So
and Cody's young.
I think he can win the SAG and start especially with that matching ensemble nomination, which Power of the Dog does not have.
Yep.
I think that category is up in the air for me as to who's going to win right now. But Kotzer would be an amazing winner. I mean, both of them would be amazing winners, but Kotzer, I think, would be.
Hopefully, he'll fall out of his chair again, like he did with.
I was going to say, given how he reacted to the nomination, I feel like it will just make just a wonderful moment. Whatever his reaction is. It's just gonna be
Are we gonna get a double Diane Warren kind of thing with Diane Warren nominated and Bradley Cooper nominated and both of them losing again?
Yeah.
Okay, that's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And just hold the camera on her face when they announce her.
She's gonna be mad. She's always mad, and then she's like, whatever.
She has the best reactions.
I know. She's just always like.
She was so
how
pissed.
many losses will this be for Coop?
She was so pissed last year. That was awesome.
She's at
Cooper's
at 8 nominations right now. He'll be
This will
at
be
9.
He'll be 0 for 9 with this one.
Yep. Unless something happens, unless he's Clooney'd.
I don't even know that he's in 100%. Like 1/3 of his performance happens in the credits of that movie. So it's just.
I was so mad when they did that. Oh my God.
He's barely in it. Barely in it. And it's not really a particularly good performance. Doesn't really add much to the movie, I don't think.
Best part of the movie.
Can I have a question about Licorice Pizza. Is it okay to ask right now? I know we have another agenda, but it bothers me so much after his whole thing when Alana Haim is sitting on the curb and the boys are like with the truck and it's like sunrise, and then we see Bradley Cooper coming down the street and he's like smashing a window with a trash can, right? Like, doesn't he not see the boys like right there with the truck? Like, wouldn't he go after them and be angry with them? But he doesn't see them or acknowledge them, and just
he's probably very wasted.
Okay.
Yeah, and just blinded by rage that he's got like horse blinders on.
Okay, all right. That moment really bothered me. Sorry.
I get it.
I want to give an extra shout out to Anders Danielson, lead from Worst Person in the World.
Yes.
Yeah.
Borderline lead, but yes.
Because fucking that
wonderful.
Oh my God. Jeez. That movie's just full of surprises.
Yeah.
Can I go first for actor? Because I haven't gone first yet for anything.
Yep. This is our next category. Rachel, start us off.
Just because I haven't been called on first. Okay. So this is going to make Erik extremely angry. Erik, I think your stat is going to die.
No. I know.
The 41 years, I think it's going down this year. I'm sorry to say, and the BAFTA is what tipped my brain this way. I am predicting, I think the expected for Cumberbatch, Garfield, Smith, and Washington. And for my fifth, I am going Leonardo DiCaprio.
Fair. I get it.
Hey,
Who's
I'm
your
not sure which
FYC?
one is Leo. I can't say with 100% certainty, but I think the main contenders for that slot are all would be returning nominees / returning winners in some cases.
Yeah.
So who's your FYC here?
Anthony Ramos from In the Heights. I'm just trying to be as Rachel as possible in all of my FYCs.
So Erik, what's your lineup?
So my lineup is Will Smith, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Garfield, Denzel Washington, and Peter Dinklage, because I'm going down with the ship, even though yes, realistically it is probably going to fall this year. That's fine. That's great. The only thing I love more than stats is watching them break and see, open the door for new things. I wish Dinklage had been able to get a BAFTA so that I could feel better about it, but I am going to hold on to it. DiCaprio is clearly my spoiler. I mean, he's right there, and he would be there anyway without the BAFTA nomination, which still I cannot really make sense of, because I'm like, was he top 2 or a jury save? Because it doesn't feel like a jury save. So, but Don't Look Up didn't do very well outside of that. It only got 3. It got him, screenplay, and picture. That's it. So where I can't make it make sense.
Because it doesn't.
Because it doesn't. It's too difficult. And it could be Javier Bardem, for fuck's sake. But my FYC is Nicolas Cage. Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. He should be in this.
I mean, he could be.
Yeah.
That 5th slot seems very precarious right now, so it could be him.
Yeah.
John, let's hear your lineup.
I have Bardem, Cumberbatch, Smith, Washington, and Garfield. I think the BAFTA means nothing to Denzel's chances. Yeah, if I'm predicting Sims, I have to predict Bardem. I think he's safer than we think. And my FYC, Anthony Ramos is great. I'll also say Dev Patel for The Green Knight is also a great performance that I would like to see more of. I could see DiCaprio squeezing in too as a past winner, but I'm not sure who he would replace. Maybe Bardem. I don't know. But those are my 5.
Right.
Oh, and then if the stat holds, I think it's going to be Cooper Hoffman, not Peter Dinklage. That would be the person.
Really?
Yeah.
Even with their clear aversion to young men in this category?
Yeah, I think because of him being Philip Seymour Hoffman's son, there might be. And Licorice Pizza is surging at the right time.
It's definitely doing that.
And Cyrano might just end up with a costume nomination.
Cyrano hasn't even come out yet.
Has it not really?
February 25th. It hasn't
God.
even come out yet. MJ?
It's not going to come out for like a couple of weeks, I don't think.
February 25th. It doesn't make any sense. It premiered,
Oh my God.
It premiered at Telluride.
A map of a map of the world of it all.
Crazy.
It's
It's a very
again, make it make sense.
It's also weird that Dinklage got a SAG nomination for The Station Agent, right? Like that movie's so old at SAG. It got him, Clarkson, and Ensemble. And this year, it felt like up until the SAGs, he was closer to an Oscar nomination than he was with The Station Agent, especially with all of his fame.
You got to watch a movie to vote for it.
And
Exactly.
Yeah.
They totally fumbled it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Well, I mean, they had House of Gucci, they had No Time to Die, they had Licorice Pizza, and I just kind of went over that in my predictions. I'm looking at it and going, they obviously had to prioritize. It was one movie a month. Oh, and they had Respect too. So they had Respect in August, No Time to Die in October, House of Gucci in November, and the extremely limited Licorice Pizza in November, and then Licorice Pizza wide in December, but holding Cyrano and pushing it all the way to February when it was going to be then January, I was just like, why would you not have this out before nominations and before the voting period? I couldn't. Ugh, it's awful.
Rob, your predictions here.
I think I might have the same 5 as Rachel. Cumberbatch, Garfield, Smith, Washington, and DiCaprio. Was that your 5?
That's my 5.
Okay, so
Correct
I'm
5.
sticking with that. And then my FYC is Hidoshi Nishijima for Drive My Car.
Maybe it's him. Maybe he's your first time nominee.
I would, if he got nominated, I'd go campaign for him. Even
that would be. I mean, I think a lot of us are expecting Drive My Car to do pretty well in the categories that we're already expecting it to. But that would very much be a great, a great nomination.
Oh my God!
It would satisfy the 41-year streak, and it would actually just make a lot of sense. It means people saw the damn movie.
Mm-hmm.
Cesco?
Okay, just to walk you through my brain rot logic. So I have Cumberbatch, which, I think he's in the lead, actually. I think he's going to win BAFTA, probably going to win SAG, and probably win the Oscar. So he's 100%. Will Smith. Andrew Garfield is a really weird situation with like British people at BAFTA now. And we can talk about it more like when we talk about actors, but it feels like they're going out of their way not to nominate high profile British like talent now. Like almost to be like, we're not biased. See, we can like, add diversity to like our nominations and stuff. And it doesn't make sense to me that he would miss at BAFTA. I don't think it would have happened 2 years ago. So I'm just going with, it's a weird blip in the sort of like, his path towards the nomination, which I think is going to happen. And then I have Javier Bardem, because I've had it the entire time and I want to be right about this. And I want to have been right for the entire time. And also like he's hit what he needed to hit for him to sort of like be in the conversation. I don't even think he's actually in 5th place. In 5th place, I have Mahershala Ali. And I have him in because of the Globes, because of BAFTA, because he's amazing, and because they love him. And that made sense to me.
I'm sorry, who was your 5th?
So you don't have Washington, right?
Mahershala, I do not have Washington.
Mahershala Ali.
I
Okay,
don't think I ever had Washington in any of my official predictions that we went over. And I might be wrong, but yeah.
Wow.
Mm-mm.
But Bardem Ali as a combination, the stat also falls there.
It falls, but Mahershala has never been nominated for lead actor, so
No.
yeah. It's like a weird.
He would still be a first-time nominee. Period. I mean, in there. No, it wouldn't satisfy the first-time nominee stat.
Right.
It would satisfy in terms of that category. First-time nominee is best actor, not first-time nominee in general. Yeah.
Yes, but that category is for a first-time nominee. Period.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
Yeah. But I mean, Swan Song is buried on Apple Plus. They have done nothing to promote it, and he still managed to get two of the big 4 kind of precursor nominations, which I think is a testament to, first of all, the fact that people watched the movie. He got singled out, and they liked it. They liked it enough to actually remember to put him in. It is not. I was hoping at the beginning of award season that it would sort of like gather enough traction that he would be able to like drag Glenn in as well. This is not going to happen, but definitely he stayed as part of the conversation the entire time.
BAFTA went out of its way to not nominate Washington and to put him in, which is still insane.
Right. And I think the nail in the coffin with Washington for me was the fact that he was not going to get at BAFTA, but I knew that he wasn't. So I was ready with that finger, like to just like take him out as soon as the nominations came out. And I feel pretty confident that enough people have watched it and loved it that they would want to vote for Mahershala.
BAFTA never nominated Denzel.
My FYC is my other award season husband, Yuri Borisov, for compartment number 6. Also call me, also I can fix you.
My lineup is the same as Rachel and Rob's. I have DiCaprio in fifth. My FYC, also Nishijima, also Anthony Ramos, Joaquin Phoenix for Come On, Come On, also really good. I was predicting Simon Rex last time. He would be another one of my FYCs. That's not happening, so I don't know why I was predicting it. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, I don't understand what Denzel has to do to get in a BAFTA. Like, it's a Shakespeare adaptation. What else do they want? And I saw it on Twitter, and I don't know who sent it out, but someone saying like the person who plays Denzel in the biopic will get a BAFTA nod.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I
it is
mean-
odd that he has never.
Again, if he can win twice without getting nominated, if he can win the Oscar twice without ever showing up at BAFTA, I don't think not getting in is.
It's never been an issue, but I think the 2 times that he won, he was the clear favorite.
Right.
Or he became the clear favorite at some point during the season. He was also, to me, like, he was always an all-star man in this category, but like not even like as strong as Garfield. I don't think, because at least Garfield has the Comedy Globe win. He was always sort of like 6th or maybe 5th, and then I just didn't find any room for him.
Yeah, I think just it's Denzel, and so kind of similar to Meryl. I mean, he gets in for, Roman Israel. He gets in for Flight. I just
Hurricane. You read my
Hurricane.
mind. I was going to say the exact same thing.
And so he
is
just
the Meryl
gets into
Streep
the-
of this category.
he gets into these, these mediocre films, and they just plug him in, and this is a little bit more high profile film. He's getting good reviews. I just don't see him missing, but who knows?
He got in for Roman Israel, didn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
and
Oh
I
my
predict.
God, I just remembered that I watched that.
That was definitely also a we're not nominating James Franco for Disaster.
Well, that was the Franco year where all of a sudden, he became public enemy #1. Yeah.
But like, they could have nominated Tom Hanks for The Post that year instead, and that was when they were like
Right.
not
I'm glad they
nominating Tom
didn't.
Hanks for anything. So
Yeah, I think Denzel doing Shakespeare is too enticing to.
Yeah.
But it hasn't been. That's kind of like the thing for me, that it hasn't really generated the amount of hype or even like awards consideration to kind of warrant, I think. Like, yeah, he's definitely in. I don't know. Maybe he's in.
It hasn't stopped him before, so
Yeah, I mean, he's got everything he needs.
right.
Shall we do it?
we're gonna move on to Best Director.
Ooh.
All right, we're doing actress last. Damn it.
We're doing
last. Yeah.
that category last. We need to deal with these ones first. All right, John, why don't you start us off with Best Director?
Absolutely. I have Campion, Paul Thomas Anderson, Villeneuve. I'm keeping Spielberg in, and Hamaguchi. I've not predicted Branagh, and I'm still not predicting Branagh. He didn't get in that BAFTA. To me, the Belfast is the front runner that's never front runned. It's like the movie that everyone's like, oh, this is definitely a possible front runner, and it's never acted like a front runner at any of the awards. The miss at BAFTA for Homeboy, prodigal son of England, Kenneth Branagh, to me was pretty significant in my mind about how people feel about Belfast. And I feel like the history of Spielberg and West Side Story is enough to carry him through. And I also want to point out, I've been dog shit in all my predictions this year, but I think I was one of the first to float Hamaguchi in director way back in our first video, our first podcast. So I just want to gloat about that. You're welcome.
It took until you saying it to make me realize that Branagh missed BAFTA. I forgot about that.
So did I. I was like, oh yeah, that did happen.
Did he get DGA? I'm trying
He
to.
did, yeah.
He did.
Oh, yeah.
Villeneuve also
Okay.
missed BAFTA, by the way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Where that movie got 11 nominations.
That doesn't make any sense.
Just sit with that. I think it does, but yeah.
It doesn't when you look at who did make it in, who has no chance. It doesn't make sense other than the jury.
It doesn't so far as I'm not predicting him. So that's yeah.
All right, Cesco, go ahead. You say you're fine.
Like I'm being singled out here. So I have Campion, Hamaguchi, P.T. Anderson. I do have Branagh, but I'm like John was saying, like this is the front runner that never front run. At some point, then it's no longer the front runner. So I could see him get in, and that's kind of like the reward for him. There's, I think, enough traction behind the movie as kind of like his love project to have that kind of resonance with voters, but he's not gonna win. My fifth one is literally just a gut feeling, and if I'm right, then I get bragging rights for the rest of my life. I am predicting Aaron Sorkin for being the Ricardos.
Oh boy. Wow, that's a ballsy choice.
That is exactly that.
Did you predict him for last year for trial, or did you have
No.
him be? Okay, just curious.
Who's your FYC here?
My FSC will be Paolo Sorrentino for Hand of God.
Okay.
Oh, that's mine too, by the way.
Taste.
Rachel, let's hear your 5.
Well, the Branagh conversation has been interesting. When we last spoke, I think I had said that I was not predicting Paul Thomas Anderson because I had Hamaguchi in his place, but I've actually gone back and put Anderson back in. I think Licorice Pizza is peaking appropriately, but I actually pulled Spielberg. I don't want to.
I'm proud of you.
But I did, just because it just took a nosedive. And yes, there's always a chance Spielberg's going to get in because he's Spielberg. So that chance always exists. So my list right now, alphabetically by last name of director, not alphabetical by title of film. Paul Thomas Anderson, Kenneth Branagh, Jane Campion, Hamaguchi, and Villeneuve. I'll FYC Spielberg since I'm not predicting him. He can be my FYC. How about
I'm
that?
proud of you. You're a bigger man than I am. This is
Well,
doesn't
I
take
was
a
gonna
lot.
say most are, Cesco.
This week has just been the absolute gayest week of my life. Having to take out West Side Story from these predictions
Yeah.
and at the same time watch all of the Olympic figure skating. This has just been in my little gay brain. It's been a lot.
All right, Erik, your turn.
I have Campion, Branagh, Villeneuve, Anderson, and Hamaguchi.
You don't have Spielberg either?
I do not.
No, I'm not crazy.
I know you are not crazy, and I went into it with in my piece about it. I really tried to look at especially him because his history with Oscars is obviously incredible, but it's also really fractured. And
It is
you
very
have to look at it as a whole, and even in a crazy year for BAFTA, he missed there and the movie missed there. He's never been nominated, even in a top 5 film, when he's missed there. And if West Side Story had gotten in, I might be hemming and hawing a little bit, and I predicted it to get in, but that's voted on by everybody. There's no jury there. It's just voted on by everybody, and it still missed.
which is an even worse sign. Yeah.
Yeah, to Don't Look Up. So, you know,
Are you talking missing BAFTA for
Yeah.
director or
and
picture?
film. It missed director and film,
Okay.
and he's never been nominated at the Oscars when that's happened.
So I was going to say he's missed director and got nominated.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
But
what I
his
mean.
film got in. I see what you're
Yeah,
saying. Gotcha.
his history is fractured. He's gotten director when the film hasn't. Film's gotten in and he's missed. But looking at the total history, it doesn't look good for him. And if he gets in, it's really because BAFTA is BAFTA right now. But this is a tough category. But I think I kind of don't understand the Sorkin prediction. I'd love to understand it a little bit more, but because I can't see really much outside of that 6. I don't see Adam McKay suddenly kind of breaking in. I don't see Maggie Gyllenhaal.
There is precedent. Munich. He never got a BAFTA for Munich, and it wasn't.
Am I wrong? I have my chart.
Did the film
Scandalo.
Fight.
Maybe
Unless he wasn't nominated as a producer for Munich, but he was for Oscar.
Wait, so the stat being that Spielberg missed picture and director at BAFTA for Munich.
And got in for picture and director.
In for picture and director
for
at
Munich.
the Oscars for Munich.
Yeah.
God damn it.
So it has happened.
Okay, well.
But I mean, Munich was a weird year. Like that was.
Yeah.
It was also a completely different movie. Yeah.
But
before
that doesn't matter. What I just said was a fucking lie. So you're trying to make excuses for me for saying something stupid, but don't. It was fucking stupid.
No, but like by and large, you're absolutely right. Like that was just that's the one I think time it happened.
I will say, and going back to a few categories ago, if West Side Story just simply plays better with the Academy, then that's fine. Then he's in. But I have to wonder then who is out. See, I don't think Branagh's out because Belfast is an over-directed movie. It's not Green Book, which is just kind of like there are too many directorial flares in it that they're going to respond to. Unnecessary ones, but I think they're there. If he were to be snubbed, it might be closer to Martin McDonagh's snub, where Three Billboards was clearly the number 2 best picture. So I have to look at that like that. Is Belfast number 1 or is it number 2? Because it's still number 1 for me, spoiler alert, right now, until it's not. If Power of the Dog wins PGA and we see like a turnaround, then yeah, maybe.
Curious about the Sorkin thing because last year the sentiment on this podcast was he's not going to get in, even though his picture is one of the front runners, because he's not respected as a director. He's only respected as a writer.
Right. And I'm still going with that.
I don't think is anywhere near as strong as at this point in the show as Trial was.
Right.
But I feel like he's building up to actually become more respected as a director every year that we have this conversation. And every year he is in the conversation, just not in director, but like he places picture in the best picture race. He gets his actors nominated. He gets in for screenplay. I think at some point there's going to be a shift where people are like, hold on, maybe there's actually worth to what he's doing as a director as well, and he deserves a spot there. My thinking, I'm not going to say that it makes a lot of sense because it doesn't, but my thinking was that I think Ricardo's, out of pretty much any other movie, had the biggest industry reaction that managed to override months of this movie being derided on the internet just because of the pictures that were being released and how horrible the makeup looked, the fact that nobody took it seriously, the fact that there were like 10 people that were like, this should have been like Deborah Messing's movie and all that. And suddenly there are these rapturous screenings for the industry where this is the greatest thing that they've ever seen in their lives and Nicole Kidman is going to win Best Actress. So I feel that for him to not even be part of, let's say like 15 people that could get in director is misguided. Then if you don't have him in the top 5, I totally get that. And it is definitely a gamble on my part, but I just have a gut feeling. Cool. This entire worst season for me has been like gut feelings. Yeah. So yeah.
Sometimes you just go with
Me too, but a different kind of gut feeling, like a gurgle.
Yeah.
It's more like IBS.
I need to go to the bathroom.
I will say I agree with that. Being the Ricardo seems like it's being much more enjoyed than Trial ever was. I don't think there was ever like Trial fans. Like people were
It
like,
got it. I mean, then the Ricardos managed to get into PGA. So
um,
yeah,
The surprise there that day.
Yep.
I
but
predicted it, but yeah.
my counterpoint is I just don't think it was. I don't think people. I don't know. It doesn't seem like a director's showcase of a movie. It's really all about Kidman's performance and the production design, in my opinion. But you absolutely make it a lot of valid points.
Rob, let's hear your list.
Okay, so I'm in camp Erik and Rachel. I have the same exact 5. I do think that Spielberg is going to miss for the same reasons that you guys outlined. His directing nominations are spotty at best, so he's inconsistent, and this is the category that changed the most, because I looked at when we first did this, and I did not have Brana, and I was really holding out on Villeneuve. I kept saying, nah, it's not going to happen. Dune is just going to do picture like Black Panther and then just get below the line. But I'm putting Villeneuve in, I'm putting Brana in, PTA, Hamaguchi is the international, and of course Campion, who's probably going to win. So, and I think Spielberg's going to miss. And my FYC, and I butchered her name, so I will just say the director of Titan is my FYC.
Julia Ducournau.
Thank
you.
Can I just say that I'm so sad because I was so looking forward to a reversal where Campion beat Spielberg since Spielberg beat Campion.
Yeah.
And this week I was forced to take out Spielberg, and I'm really upset about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough one because like I said, I did not have Villeneuve or Brana for the longest time, and I finally just I gave in and said, okay, they're probably going to get nominated. So, and I think Spielberg's going to miss.
How many of you have DGA in the Oscars matching 5 for 5?
None of us, because we all have Hamaguchi, right?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have the same lineup as Rachel, Erik, and Rob. So
So it's gonna happen.
Yeah, because I was looking at the fact that Spielberg in the expanded lineup era has only gone in for director for Lincoln, and Lincoln was pretty much like one of the front runners that year.
Yeah.
Because War Horse got in without Spielberg, Bridge of Spies got in without Spielberg, The Post got in with barely anything. So West Side Story, just the trajectory. I know a lot of it was also screener issues, but I don't think West Side Story would have been top 5. And I think that's the same case with The Post, Bridge of Spies, and War Horse. I don't think they were top 5.
Right.
So I think that's why I have him out. I was predicting, last time I was predicting Adam McKay. Thank God I was able to drop him.
I was so scared. I thought he was going to maybe make DGA, and I would have to. And I'm like,
that's what I was thinking too. But thank God he missed there. My FYC would be Janicska Bravo for Zola, but also Maggie Gyllenhaal, but also Pedro Almodovar, but also Jonas Rasmussen for Flea. Like, there's so many greats, and they're all not getting it.
Wait, did I not do an FYC?
Did you?
I don't think you did.
I didn't, because Jonas Poor Rasmussen would be my FYC.
Excellent.
Easily. I mean, how would I not pick my number 1 movie? Spoiler alert.
We have a kitty.
Yay! Guest star.
Yes, our kitty.
He's also predicting Sorkin.
Aw.
So when we do our best pictures, should we say what we also think the presumptive top 5 are?
Mine are already in order, so
Okay.
I can.
So let's do them, ranking them in order, and then we can do our FYC.
Oh
Oh
shit.
God.
So I think
wrote my
Eric's
list.
ready. Everyone else is gonna have to get ready. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
ready.
didn't do mine.
I'll go
Eric?
slow.
Erik, you can go
Like,
first.
full names. Because even though I'm super sketchy on my 9 and 10, because again, my list is going to have a broken streak of history. And so my order is Belfast, The Power of the Dog, King Richard. Here, let me go backwards. Belfast from Focus Features, The Power of the Dog
Oh,
from
geez.
Netflix, King Richard from Warner Brothers, Dune from Warner Brothers, Licorice Pizza, MGM United Artists, Don't Look Up, Netflix, West Side Story, 20th Century Studios, Coda, Apple Original Films, Tick Tick Boom, Netflix, and Jennifer Lawrence style, House of Gucci, MGM UAR. But the last two, I'm very, 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 I feel less about Tick Tick Boom than I did when I finalized the prediction. It's been in my list at the bottom for a long time, but 61 years is a long time for a studio to get 3 Best Picture nominees in. It hasn't even happened during this expanded lineup. Nobody has worked harder than Netflix to make that happen. And they still haven't been able to. They got so close last year, so close. And I think
It will happen. So
it will happen. And with a straight 10, it would have happened last year.
right.
Which is why I feel like this year is how and why it could happen. But the thing about last year, and clearly I'm talking about Ma Rainey being that third pick, you know, it had 2 lead nominations. It won 2 Oscars. Tick Tick Boom is not in that position by any stretch of the imagination. And in fact, I think the only nominations I have for it are picture and actor. That puts it in a very, very tenuous position for me.
Yeah.
As a pick. And so that, you know, that makes, you know, being the Ricardos a spoiler, but I'm not going to go 10 out of 10 with PGA. I'm just not going to do that. So there's a lot of possibilities. I mean, Nightmare Alley, Tragedy of Macbeth could sneak in, but they haven't done really much else. And again, they would have to show up in other places. I'm not going to pick something in Best Picture that doesn't have an acting or writing nomination with it. Period. I can't. I won't. It hasn't happened. Even Extremely Loud and Blindside, A Serious Man, you have to have one of those other 2 in this era of the Oscars. So it's I can't go outside of that and pick something, which is why, you know, being the Ricardos, Tragedy, Macbeth are the most likely slots there for me. FYC is Flea.
All right, Cesco, you ready?
So yeah, I rearranged things around. Let me just pull it up. Okay, so in order of likelihood, that's what we're doing.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, Power of the Dog, Licorice Pizza, In the Ricardos, Drive My Car, Belfast, Dune, Coda, Don't Look Up, King Richard, West Side Story.
I'm proud of you that you added Coda.
It took a lot, but I did. Yeah.
By a lot, you mean Amelia Jones getting an head baptized.
Well, I think at some point I realized that Kutzer was a lot stronger than he seemed to be at the beginning, and that it was probably also in for Screenplay, and that people actually liked it, and yeah, it's not in my top 5. I don't think it would make the cut if we still had just 5, but with a mandatory 10, sort of like a fixed 10, I honestly wouldn't know what else to like toss in there. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, being the Ricardos at number 3.
3 or 4. Let me see. I just put the numbers on. Yeah, number 3. Yeah.
I want to see all your below the line predictions then. I'm fascinated.
I feel like I almost manifested being the Ricardos in a way, like at a point in time where everybody was like predicting like Stewart.
It's your fault.
It was my fault. And it's not even, I didn't particularly enjoy it. I don't think it's a particularly good film. I'm very much in the camp of every year Nicole Kidman is winning an Oscar is generally a win for everybody, but beyond her, I don't think it's a particularly worthwhile movie. I don't think about it. Yeah, but it just from reading things like on Twitter, on the internet, this is very much a movie that the industry embraced. That if awards were given out by critics, we wouldn't be talking about this movie anywhere near the same capacity as we are. But the industry has embraced this movie. They feel really strong about this movie. The actress is going to win Best Actress. It is, I think, a lot stronger than people are giving it credit for, not in terms of objective merits, just in terms of the kind of reaction that it has created from people that have seen it, that actually vote on these things.
Yeah, I saw one of the first screenings of it in November with a mix of a handful of critics and lots of industry. And even though, you know, there was a post Q&A with everybody in the damn movie, the response was through the roof. And I think part of it, and I added this to my write-up, I think part of it was the expectation was damp. I think to say, to be nice about it.
Right.
So even from myself, I wasn't really looking forward to it other than, you know, I'll watch Nicole Kidman do anything.
Right.
And so it ended up being so much better, I think, than people expected it to be, because the expectation was pretty low.
It went from pretty much what we were thinking was going to be a Razzie contender across the board to something that is top 5 in a lot of these categories. And the people that vote on these are the people that absolutely love dog shit out of it. So that has to mean something.
Which is funny because you think about it in hindsight now, because obviously people were so influenced by the Twitter response, the pictures and all that stuff. And then you kind of think about it, well, would Sorkin and Kidman and company really make that big of a piece of shit, that, like you said, Razzie thing? So I think at the end of the day, there was I think when, as Erik, you said during the initial previews, when viewing to the industry and critics, and people were, you know, surprised. I mean, it was funny that it's surprising that people were surprised. I think at the end of the day, that's kind of where I was reading something. It was like, yeah, you know, people responded too quickly to some pictures and all that stuff, and then didn't really kind of think about it like, well, look at the quality of filmmakers and actors that were behind this movie. So
I don't even know that the response wasn't warranted. I still think the makeup is horrible, and it makes even less sense when, like, Kidman didn't really bother to recreate any of the mannerisms or like the voice intonations, or like her effort wasn't really in doing a Lucille Ball impression. That is why she did not need for the makeup team to completely reconstruct her forehead.
Right.
So I don't think the response to the makeup was unwarranted. I think it's a horrible makeup job. It's on par with Chastain and her face paraglider.
Right, but you made a judgment on the entire film on
Exactly.
one picture. So
that is, I think, the point that needs to be sort of like parsed with a little more nuance, is that people jumped from the movie's makeup is horrible to it means that the movie itself is horrible.
Right, exactly.
I think my take on it when I was watching it, and I was watching everybody and listening to everybody too, I felt like was sort of the same. The first 10 minutes were really hard to kind of get past, because you had to realize that this was not an impersonation, and neither, you know, Bardem or Kidman looked or sounded anything like Ball and Arnaz at all. So then it just became about the performances as they were, which were really, really good. And even though Kidman doesn't go out of her way to try and sound like Ball, the scenes where she's going in and out of the Lucy on the Show voice and Lucille Ball voice when they're doing all the takes, that was some great fucking work.
No, I agree. I do.
That's where her performance is in those moments.
Yeah, I agree. I think the first few minutes you had to get used to it, but once you kind of realized what she was doing, she was great. Yeah. I totally agree. Bardem, to me, I thought was the weakest. I could not get. I just didn't see Desi in that performance at all. I just didn't. I didn't buy it one bit. Nicole, I did. I saw Bardem with just the Desi Arnaz hairdo. That's all I could. That's
Like all he needed to do was just say Babalu like every couple of minutes, and that was the whole fucking performance.
Right. Yeah. No. Yeah. I thought
Everybody else in it was better.
I thought
Leah
he was-
Shawkat should have been getting like.
I thought he was.
notices across the
I
board.
thought he was the weak link of that movie.
This is where my Oscar season has been even gayer than usual because, as you all know, my bat mitzvah was I Love Lucy themed. So it was like a really, really Rachel year.
I did not know that, and I'm gonna take 5 minutes.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, I had.
And do you have pictures?
Yes, I do have pictures.
Awesome.
I'll share them in the Twitter chain after this.
Awesome.
TLDR.
No, I think Alfie should do fade-ins of the video just right at this point.
So
Rachel is that
Star wipes.
That's great.
So my birthday's in December. So my bat mitzvah was kind of like the last one of the year of everyone in my Hebrew school class. And I had already been to so many Broadway themed ones at that point. So we were trying to think what's something else that I love that hasn't been a theme. So we did an I Love Lucy theme. And basically, so all of the tables had, instead of table numbers, we had these poster boards made up with pictures from individual episodes, and your little place card would say like you're sitting at grape stomping, or my table, the kids table, was Vitamin to Vegemite, since that's my favorite episode, or it's you're sitting at Chocolate Factory. We all came into the I Love Lucy theme song. The big sign-in board where all the kids like write the messages and stuff was the giant pink heart. And finally, the pièce de résistance, if you will, the giveaway for the kids that were at all the seats were these t-shirts that had a red heart on them that said I love Rachel instead of I love Lucy. So we have a shirt because I love myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
Love
I
it.
was gonna say that I
was
think
Deborah
it-
Messing upset that she wasn't invited? Dang.
I think that it's also a little bit misleading to say that the Twitter hate for the movie started with those photos, because this movie got hate from like the second they announced that it was Kidman and Bardem. Kidman isn't funny, all this, they're both too old, he's not Latin. It was just coming from all different sides, the hate. So it got, I think, increased on Twitter when they released the first images and those trailers, but people have been gunning from the beginning, and Lucy Arnaz, their daughter, has really been the one who's been rah-rahing this whole thing. And they've been smart with their campaign. They had her sit down and do that interview with that. She was interviewing Javier Bardem in the Hollywood Reporter. I thought that was pretty smart to talk about how the process of making the movie and how she and her brother were very involved in it and the casting. And I thought that was smart.
Well, and this was
I don't
also
care.
after the Kate Blanchett version fell through too. And there were those like mock-up pictures of her that looked pretty damn good. But,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, but Blanchett is also not really known for comedy either. I think people were not really sure what form this movie was going to take, because
Yeah.
it's not like a recreation of an I Love Lucy episode. So it wasn't necessary for the actress playing that part to be funny in real life, because that wasn't what it was focused on. But the Deborah Messing thing was so fascinating to me, because I thought it should have been Catherine Hahn and Oscar Isaac. That was my dream casting.
Oh, I would have been there for that.
I thought that would have been interesting, but I understand that Catherine Hahn doesn't have the pull of Nicole Kidman.
Not yet.
Not yet. Yeah, or even maybe Jane Levy. My main issue was the age. Like, that was really, especially when so much of the film revolves around her being pregnant.
Yeah.
And then the flashbacks to earlier in her career with the Vaseline lens. That was really, it's very, very, very rare that I say, but they gave this role to an older actress and it should have gone to a younger one. It's usually the exact reverse of what happens. But I shall send around pictures from my I Love Lucy themed bat mitzvah.
Oh,
I didn't know you guys
yay.
didn't all know that.
That's awesome.
I was like exactly me now, but 13. Like there's been very little change.
That's
We
good.
have spent far too long on being the Ricardos,
Okay.
and we need to continue with the predictions.
All right. We're
I don't have
That
being
really
the
did
Ricardos.
go up
reel us
the
in.
deep
Reel us
end.
in.
So, John, let's hear your.
I do not have being the Ricardos predicted.
Good.
In order of likelihood, in my mind, I have Power of the Dog, Dune, Licorice Pizza, Don't Look Up. Belfast and West Side Story are kind of tussling for that 5th spot. Coda, King Richard, I have Nightmare Alley, and Drive My Car. Which makes me realize that Nightmare Alley is probably going to get in adapted screenplay, or Kate Blanchett's going to get in, if it's going to get in picture to make my. So maybe that's one of the surprises that happens.
I see a lot of people predicting Blanchett to spoil.
No, because then she's gonna tag Glenn Close.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. I took out The Lost Daughter. I feel like that's fading. Plus, it's an overly. This is going to sound terrible, but it's an overly feminine subject matter that only I think resonates. It doesn't resonate with straight men. They don't understand it. Like that take on motherhood and everything. So we know that those types of films
Also not very good.
don't do very well in the Best Picture slot. So
There were so many I'm bored, nothing happens, I don't like these women comments from straight guys that saw it. And I was just like, you don't matter. But yeah,
right.
that was a response.
This isn't for you. What's your FYC, John?
Oh, The Green Knight.
Yay.
Oh, my FOC was Flea.
Yes.
I still have not seen that.
Either.
Very good.
All right, Rob, your 10.
Okay, let's see. What do I have here? Let's see, make sure I can count here. Okay, Power of the Dog, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Dune, King Richard, Don't Look Up, Coda, West Side Story, and Being the Ricardos. Is that 10?
Only 9.
Okay, and then Tragedy of Macbeth is my 10. I did take out Tick Tick Boom. I have a feeling it's like there's only room for one musical, and it's going to be West Side Story. And I also kind of agree with Erik on the that's just too much Netflix, and I think the industry is not going to give Netflix 3 Best Picture nominations. And if it and it's Tick Tick Boom is going to be the one that's going to be the sacrificial lamb. Power of the Dog clearly is in, and then Don't Look Up. So that's my rationale for that. I
mean, even Lost Daughter is stronger than Tick Tick Boom.
And I don't have that in there
outside
either.
of PGA.
Yeah, I don't have that in there either.
Yeah.
And then my FYC is Drive My Car.
Yeah.
So
All right, Rachel.
So in order, I have Power of the Dog, Belfast, Dune, Licorice Pizza, Don't Look Up, King Richard, Coda, West Side Story, Being the Ricardos, and House of Gucci.
ooh.
I don't
Okay.
think that matches with anybody here.
Well, I have 9 of yours. I don't have Gucci. I have Tragedy over Gucci.
My only rationale for
Both
this
are
is
a tragedy.
a tragedy in its own way. My only rationale for Gucci is that in year 3 of this godforsaken pandemic, I still feel like there's going to be some attention paid to things that actually made real money.
Right.
That's really my own. I was surprised that it missed a PGA. Honestly, I almost took it out when it missed there.
Huge surprise.
Mhm.
I thought that was a surefire thing for at least PGA. So I'm not 100% confident in it, but that's my feeling as of right now.
I'm actually weirdly more confident in it because of the PGA snub, because I'm not going to go, like I said, 10 for 10.
And yeah, my FYC, I guess, would be Tick Tick Boom, because I'm not predicting it. I think too many musicals and too much Netflix. And as you said, I only have it in for Garfield, so that doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hit in a lot of really important places, so I don't think it's impossible. But yeah, I also am not planning on matching 10 for 10 with PGA. I just don't think that's likely. So I guess if we all have the same top 8, my 9 and 10 are being the Ricardos and House of Gucci.
But then, I can't reconcile having Gucci in and then not having He Who Should Not Be Named in the supporting actor. It doesn't make sense.
But I do have him in supporting actor.
I know you do, which is why you are more right than I am in that wavelength of if then.
There's a scenario where Gucci makes it in Best Picture and Gaga makes it in an actress and Pepperoni Face doesn't need to be nominated.
Is he gonna get a Razzie nomination? Like how you think Gucci's gonna show up at the Razzies?
They hate women, so yes.
No, you meant him.
Or either, like, is Gucci going to show up at the Razzies? Does anyone think?
I forgot. I have to go look at their short list. I completely don't remember.
Oh, there's a short list?
They usually have one.
Doing the,
long list, really. It's a long list.
Can someone look it up? Because now I need to know.
I'm looking it up right now.
Okay.
My 10 here: Power of the Dog, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, Dune, Don't Look Up, West Side Story, King Richard, Coda, Tick Tick Boom, and Drive My Car at number 10. I'm just like, all right, fine. Like, I don't know what the 10's gonna look like, and so I just figured, why not? Like,
can I just say that we're all predicting Hamaguchi for director, but then like only 3 of us have Drive My Car for picture, even in an extended fixed like top 10. I think that's interesting. Yeah,
I think it's completely logical though, because it's.
I would say like if it was just like 5 Best Picture nominees, then yes, then I could see like Drive My Car is in my top 5, but I feel like it is definitely at least top 10.
I don't see any. By the way, I don't see any long list or short list for the Razzies.
Okay, I thought I had seen something, so maybe not.
Nominations are Tuesday.
The same day as the Oscars.
Yeah.
It's because they're not ranking the Best Picture choice.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's Monday. It's Monday.
Oh, okay.
The day before.
Oh my God, tomorrow. All right, I didn't even know that. Yeah, the voting is different than what it's been. Since there's no sliding scale. But for me, the reason I don't have Drive My Car in is because everybody votes for this versus just the individual branches. So for it to get in, the acting branch, which is obviously the largest, would really have to come through for it. The directing branch probably would. The writing branch probably would. International feature film probably would.
Right.
I just don't know if that's enough.
Yeah, I agree. It's not the high profile international film like Parasite and Roma. It just doesn't have that.
Long list for the Razzies. Sorry, we can come back to them later. But Jared Leto is long listed.
Oh, you said his
there
name.
is a long list. What'd you type in to find it?
Yeah, see, I knew it.
I just went to 42nd Golden Raspberry Awards on Wikipedia, and they're all there.
Oh,
yeah.
I couldn't find it. Okay.
Diana the Musical is long listed for Worst Picture, which is hilarious, and Ben Platt is long listed for Worst
Yay!
He's finally gonna win something.
Besides the Tony and an Emmy and a Grammy.
Stop it.
He's 3/4 of the way to an EGOT, you guys.
Stop it. We need to ensure that does not happen.
I have Drive My Car in just because, like, as Erik was saying, like, it's gonna have to be like the actors have to carry it in, because we know that directors will carry it and we know that writers probably will. And so I'm guessing and hedging my bets that even though it's not going to show up in the acting categories, there's probably enough voters in the acting branch that will put it at number 1, knowing that like that's like the one to get it into. I do not feel confident with it at all. I mean, if any other studio was behind it, I would feel more comfortable. Like,
that's a whole nother thing. There's been like literally one FYC ad for that movie because Janus Films has never had to mount a campaign.
All they're doing is tweeting, and it's like, okay, like that's not enough.
It's
like
it needs groundswell, grassroots spaghetti dinner making support.
It needs people in the Academy like throwing dinners for it. It needs Julia Roberts like campaigning for Keisha Castle Hughes. This is our required Keisha Castle Hughes mentioned in our Zoom call. So
It
Exactly.
needed
That off.
BAFTA. It needed
They're
BAFTA to
contractually
step
obligated.
up their BAFTA Uzi and do what was
They're
right.
back to Uzi. Isn't that already a Boosie?
Yeah.
Uh,
It would have been to
I-
actually long listed everywhere, because I think
Yeah.
at some point I had it in as many as 5 of the like top 8 categories, because I had it in for 2 acting awards, and then that didn't happen and I took it out. But I think that the places where I have it in are the places where generally I would expect the front runner or the presumed front runner for foreign feature to
Yeah.
also be a contender, which is director and screenplay. Add to that the fact that it did so well with critics, it did exceptionally well with critics, and I feel like maybe there's more traction behind it than we realize, and that people have actually seen it, and the people that have seen it probably loved it. So in an expanded lineup of like 10 pictures, if I'm predicting for director and screenplay, I have to find a spot for it. It just makes sense for me.
And at least it's been out since November, so
Right.
there's no like, hey, this is a release that's coming out days before you have to vote.
Right.
By the way,
I
Leto,
I would would gladly be wrong if it, but yeah, I think about the lack of buzz. That's the only thing that's why I'm not.
What do you
putting
mean
it
lack
in.
of buzz though?
I just don't feel like anybody's talking about it, other than just like the circle of. I mean, it like I said, it doesn't feel like a Parasite or a Roma where.
Well, sure, it's not one of those.
Right, I understand, but I'm just saying it just, even when I talk to people who, are lightly interested in it, a lot of people I've talked to, they're saying, "Oh, what's that one again?" No one just seemed, as opposed to when you
Okay.
Parasite, where people are like, "Oh my God, yes, I want to see that." It's supposed,
Yeah.
people are like, the only person I would say 10 people that I talked to kind of knew. It was like, is that Japanese movie? That was the closest that somebody had ever heard of it. So I'm kind of, and maybe this is wrong, but I just keep going based on, and maybe this is from coming from PR, but there doesn't feel like it just seems there's a lack of buzz for it.
Yeah.
That's just,
It's just very pared back and kind of like cerebral in a way. So it doesn't hit you the same way that, Parasite did. It doesn't have the big name director attached to it like Roma did. There's definitely reasons why I think it is not as strong as those 2 movies, but it is still very strong, I think.
no, it's a great film and it should be nominated. It just, I think my prediction is I don't think it will. And again, it's just that, to me, it's just this perception of lack of buzz.
And I also think what I think is helping is that the places where it showed up at BAFTA were the only places it could show up, and it got like it could have easily been dropped in the other 2 categories. So,
But on the other side, had it been short or long listed elsewhere, we might have seen it show up more places.
like, and that's why I think there are people that are going to vote for it, even though like it's from a tiny studio, even though there was no real big campaign, even though critics don't vote for Oscars. Like I think it's enough to get it in.
It's definitely in the 11 to 15 for me, and
Yeah.
I think Nishijima is in top 10.
There's really no reason why Nishijima should have made Best Actor. It's just
No,
really
absolutely.
pitiful. And I really squarely put this on BAFTA because they literally had one job, but the overall, especially last year, with them being like, we're going to be more inclusive, we're going to actually pay attention to what's going on outside of like English language like productions and stuff. And then they reverted back to what they were doing before that, which is a long list of 60 performances where Reinsve is the only one not in English.
What it felt like
means you've watched 60 movies all year. Sorry, that's pitiful.
What it felt like was the 2018 Oscars, where Green Book and Bohemian Rhapsody were these like, they felt like backlashes to the last few years of the big changes that the Oscars were trying to make. And it's like, you know what? Sorry, but we're gonna give you the most basic shit that you've ever seen.
Right. I feel like they're almost trying to regain some of the kind of like prognosticating relevance that they feel they might have lost last year when the field was actually more diverse, but then people were like, okay, maybe these are not reliable anymore as predictors, just in terms of the nominations. They still got all the winning right, but the nominations were really out there. So they're backtracking a little bit, and it's very disappointing because it ends up hurting like smaller movies that actually deserve that attention.
Now, is there any influence on the whole we need to get ratings up kind of thing? Is that do you think that's influencing anything?
Not for BAFTA.
Oh, we're talking BAFTA. I thought we were talking about the Oscars. Okay,
No.
sorry.
Also, just FYI, Jared Leto is also shortlisted for worst screen couple.
La 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 la.
Too late. You put it.
Can you edit that out?
It's already out in the universe. It's already out there. Too late. It's out there. You guys said it.
Great. It's like The Ring. He's going to come through the screen now.
Now he's going to get nominated. He's going to win.
Oh, I said the name, didn't I? But he's shortlisted with his 17-pound for worst screen couple with his 17-pound latex face.
Yeah.
And accent.
Fair, and we'll probably win.
That is really a throuple that, yeah.
Also, Amy Adams could be triple nominated at the Razzies. Anyway,
what was her third film?
Oh well,
Woman in the
she's
Window.
Also she's nominated for worst screen couple with herself.
Oh, for Woman in the Window.
Yeah, she's nominated she's shortlisted for worst screen couple for her and her agoraphobic Jimmy Stewart imitation.
Oh,
not Evan Hansen, because they really exist only to shit on women. But yeah,
they really do.
Also, like their worst screen couple category, like there's only one actual pair of characters.
They've really gone far off, even from what they used to be.
It's basically just another reason to nominate a person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm surprised there isn't like the worst couple isn't like Amy Adams and the Claw Garden Hook.
Right. Anywho,
yeah, they're not even really kind of what they used to be either. They're a lot less fun and much more mean-spirited.
Right. Yeah.
Speaking of Amy Adams and Woman in the Window, Best Actress.
Yay!
Bum, 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 bum.
Which actually that wasn't in the eligibility list, was it? Woman in the Window wasn't in the long list for. It's not eligible for the Oscars.
I bet she's really upset about that.
I think because it went straight to Netflix, it never hit the theater, right?
And then they didn't put it in theaters.
Yeah.
Haha.
Go figure.
It was so great. Such a classic. Oh my God.
This category is bananas. And not just because Alana Haim is in it.
Are we doing actress?
Yes, let's do it.
Oh, here we go.
All right.
Is there anyone that wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Great.
All right.
Okay, so I'm just gonna fucking do it. All right, so Coleman, Kidman, Hudson, Cruise, and I finally fucking gave in and put Gaga in. So Coleman, Kidman, Cruise, Hudson, Gaga. Those are my picks, and my FYC is Martha Plimpton. So there you go, shitheads.
Cesco, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm trying to are we doing these in order of likelihood? Or are we doing this in alphabetical order?
I just did mine based on just what was coming out of my head. So
okay, so do we all have Kidman and Gaga in?
Yes.
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 Okay, so I feel like I can talk you through like the rationale behind the other three. So I have Banana Claim, Alana Haim, because the movie has really surged, and I think in contention for Best Picture, in contention for Best Director, Screenplay. She got the BAFTA nomination. I think she peaked when she needed to peak, and it actually would surprise me at this point if she missed. So those are like three, and then I have Reinsve and I have Cruz, which means I am not predicting Coleman because there's a reason why. So
I think we know the reason.
I think we know the reason why.
I have one thing against Olivia Coleman. No, I have nothing against Olivia Coleman. I guess as I was looking at this, I was sort of like asking myself, out of the, like, I'm needing like 2 more performances to round out the top 5. I didn't really feel like there was enough enthusiasm behind Coleman as there would be behind Cruz and Reinsve. Mainly because, to me at least, in sort of like the trajectory of my predictions, Woman in the one in the window. Love's Daughter has taken a huge dip. At some point, I had him for Best Picture, and I just started I slowly realized that like every time I was revising my performances, I would take it out of one category or two, to a point where I think she and Screenplay at some point were the only 2 that I had in the top 8. She missed at BAFTA, and the trajectory with her at BAFTA has been really baffling because she's managed to dodge every possible nomination she could have gotten these past 2 years, up to a point where, and I was sort of like saying this with Garfield, it feels like it's almost intentional, like they're doing it on purpose, where it's either a situation where they're like, we're trying to actually make room for less biased or more diverse names and nominations in here, or they just feel guilty because they sabotaged Glenn Close's Oscar 2 years ago, in which case I hope you take that to your graves. So she ended up missing a BAFTA. She missed out at Spirits, which to me is inexplicable. She just keeps missing out. She was never the front runner. So I don't think that she is even in a position where she's getting like #1 votes. So to me, Reinsve and Cruz, as performances that maybe didn't get as much buzz at the beginning, have more of sort of like a strong, passionate support in terms of #1 votes. Reinsve, to me, making it into BAFTA, even just the long list from what we saw, was a miracle. She's the only performer not in English who managed to long list there, and then she actually got the nomination. I'm predicting Worst Person in the World to make it in foreign feature. So to me, to have that sort of like paired up with the Best Action nomination makes sense. Cruz is a former winner. I think that she tends to do really well with Almodovar, like sort of like high profile Almodovar projects. I just feel like people are gonna get more invested in her watching Parallel Mothers than they would watching Love's Daughter and Coleman, which is mostly a reactive performance, and arguably not even the best performance in that movie. So that is my thinking behind it. I don't think Coleman is in. My FYC is of course Glenn Close in 4 Good Days.
Well, so you're picking 2 foreign language performances, and then 2 what I guess it's pop singers or musicians or singers to get nominated. That's
well,
that's interesting. I mean, I am too, but I'm picking Hudson over Haim just because Hudson is a previous winner. She's playing a real person, blah blah blah. And I just think
the 2 non-English language film thing that goes back to 76, right?
76, right. And I'm only picking Cruz because of Cruz being Cruz.
I feel like that's also meant to happen at some point, and I feel like these 2 performances definitely warrant that kind of consideration. Yeah. Gaga to me is Gaga as a musician to me is a genius of our times. She's amazing. She's incredible. Everything about the movie to me is an abomination, her included. She should not be in this conversation. If I had to take like a trip to Lourdes to make this not happen, I would. It is just, I think, a situation where she's the only one that hit all 4. And generally there tends to be one every year or so that hits all 4 and misses. It can only be her this year. So hopefully it's her.
Are you predicting Plemons?
Yes.
So you have Cruz, Bardem, and Plemons and Dunst, which is 2 his and hers in the same year, which I don't think has ever happened. 2 married couples in the same year.
That did not factor in my thinking, but yes.
I just wanted to say, since we were talking about Coleman, the London Film Critics announced a little bit ago and Olivia Coleman won Best Actress there over Cruz, Ryan, Joanna Scanlon, and Kristen Stewart.
There is no accounting for taste,
That's a pretty surprising win, though.
but it is critics, right?
It is.
Right.
But they have worked their way up to be a pretty high profile. And I mean, that nomination list for actress is unimpeachable.
Mhm.
There's no Gaga, there's no Kidman.
Mhm.
It's a really great list.
Mhm.
That was just a little surprising, I guess.
Who's next?
Rachel.
I'll go.
By the way, Rachel, your bar mitzvah picture is amazing.
I put it in the
Oh.
chat because it doesn't allow me to screen share because this is being recorded. So I can't screen share.
Oh, it's so cute. Oh my god.
Love, 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 love.
Can we nominate you instead?
Can we do a reprinting of those T-shirts so we can have them?
Yes.
A second running of the printing. Rob, you brought up a point that I didn't think about when I made my predictions, which is the three singers, because I have three singers in mine as well. I have Olivia Coleman, Lady Gaga, Alana Haim, Jennifer Hudson, Nicole Kidman. The reason for my lineup is I have not let go of Jennifer Hudson since the beginning of this season, so I do not feel that I should let go of her right now.
You're
after
exactly right.
SAG nomination. I should just hang on. If I'm wrong, then I made a no guts, no glory call. That was wrong. It happens, whatever. But I've had her since the beginning, so I don't think I can drop her. And Alana Haim, I just put in because of the BAFTAs really and how much Licorice Pizza is peaking. I have to imagine that Haim and Gaga were the two populist picks with BAFTA. So that makes me think that she's in. I didn't think of the three pop star things, but I guess that's a valid point. I also just did some quick math, and now that I've said all of my acting predictions, I actually have a 13-7 split of former nominees versus newbies, which is, I usually like to go a little bit more even than that. So it might be more lopsided this year than usual. My FYC will be Stewart since I had to drop her, but I'm very angry about it. And it's not even that I necessarily thought she would get in at BAFTA because they don't like Americans playing British people and they also don't like Princess Diana, but I'm really still shocked by the SAG snub. So I have begrudgingly dropped her. This is my 5. Ask me any questions you might have if I seem crazy.
No, I think those are good. I just, like I said, I just, for me, about the whole, the three musicians, I just think, actors can be a little bit, the ego and all that stuff. And I think they, are they going to vote for these musicians turn actors? And again, that's just kind of how I'm kind of thinking in the mind of the Academy. They want to nominate actors, in performances, not these musician turn actors. So that's why I'm saying Alana Haim, definitely. I don't see her. I don't see that happening. Even though there's the BAFTA, which we all know is kind of like whatever, BAFTA schmashta. They were right as far as the winners, but as far as nominees, when you had like a lot of the high profile snubs from last year, like Carey Mulligan and Olivia Coleman and some others that didn't get in, that then ended up getting nominated for the Academy. So I'm not necessarily banking on what BAFTA is doing. I'm definitely looking at it, but not basing all my decisions on that. So that's why I'm not having Alana or Banana or whatever you call her. And
Can I just say though that 2 of these 3 pop stars are actual Oscar winners?
We're already winners.
So
Yeah.
there's
right.
definitely, I think, a lot of cred there that kind of like I think has kind of like moved the the perception of these 3, well, at least those 2 people as yes pop stars, but also legit sort of like acting sort of talents. Hudson has an acting Oscar. Gaga was nominated for Best Actress. She won for Song. So these are people that the Academy has already embraced.
Yeah,
Right.
So the one thing that kind of holds me a little bit back on Haim is it's her debut. Is she going to make another movie? Was this a one-off?
Mm-hmm.
And is the Academy going to back a one-off performance or something they feel is just a one-time thing?
Right.
Hudson's
Let me
that was
call
her
Jay
debut.
Davidson. Hold on.
But because there's no way to know, I mean, I
Fair.
don't think that's going to factor in terms of like, are we going to stop here and guess if she's going to be in another movie or not? I think it's about the performance, and I think it's about the fact that Licorice Pizza has received widespread support in terms of guilds, in terms of industry. It is a major player in a lot of these categories. And more we're seeing, I think, Best Actress nominees that actually have a corresponding Best Picture nomination now, which is kind of like shifting to be like the new paradigm. Whereas like in the past, at Best Actress, sort of like being the only nomination from that movie was sort of like the unwritten rule. Now you kind of need the support of stronger movie, strong writing to be considered in this category. And yeah.
She also,
Uh,
I think she also benefits from being, from not playing a real life person biopic.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
She helped me with my predictions because I already had Gaga, Kidman, and Hudson in here, and I had Stewart too, and I just couldn't. Like 4 out of 5 just seemed crazy.
So what we have right now is 3 people have gone and done their predictions. All 3 of you have Kidman and Gaga. 2 of you have Coleman. 2 of you have Haim. 2 of you have Hudson.
Can I fuck it all
Where
up?
Rob goes, 2 of us will have Cruise.
So John, your turn.
All right, I have Gaga and Kidman, and also how crazy is it that Gaga's in a better position somehow than she was for A Star Is Born to win, which is insane to me. And maybe A Star Is Born was her Silkwood, and maybe House of Gucci is her Moonstruck, i.e., a movie that has deeply offensive portrayals of Italians.
That means He Who Shall Not Be Named is going to win as well.
But yeah, so I have Gaga and Kidman. I also have Coleman. I looked up. She hit everywhere. She's hit all the same places and missed all the same places that she did for The Father.
Yeah.
And she still got in for The Father. So and she's a recent past winner. I think she's I'd say she's 3 or 4. I have Haim. It took me a while to get her in, but the BAFTA nom, and I agree, she probably was in the top 2. She was the ingenue all along as I was looking for an ingenue. I don't have Hudson. I still don't believe in that. I still don't believe it. I think her SAG nomination was a classic Jenna Rollins or Marissa Tomei on Unhook the Stars. Like it was just the random, not showing up anywhere else nomination. No one's talking about the movie. No one's talking about her performance. I think it'd be different if there was like, this might sound weird, but I think it'd be different if there was like a lot of memification that came out of that movie. Like there's not like a moment that's like, oh, this is her killer song moment, like there was in Dreamgirls, or this is like look what she does here. This is amazing. Or like even with Gaga, there's like widespread memeage of the movie. It just doesn't seem like it made money, but no one's talking about it. No one seems passionate about it. So I'm not predicting her. Then did I miss? Oh, my 5th is actually Stewart. And here's my logic about Stewart is that I think, and I read a piece, I think it was from Owen Gleiberman, that was like the snub might actually help her because it positions her as an underdog. I don't know if there's 100% truth to that, but I think there is passion for her performance, which you cannot say about Hudson. I don't think there's any passion for Hudson. And I think Americans are going to be much more receptive to her portrayal as an American actress of Diana. She's much more, I think, in line with the American vision of Diana than the British version. And I just don't see anyone else outside of her that I don't think Reinsva, I don't think anyone's seen that movie. I can't find it anywhere. I don't know how to watch it or stream it. I don't think anyone's seen that movie. Cruise, I think no one's talking about Cruise outside of us, honestly, or cinephile prognosticators. So I don't see I could see her getting on her name and the Almodovar pedigree, but I'm just not seeing it. She's not showing up enough for me. So yeah, Gaga, Kidman, Coleman, Stewart, Haim.
Who's your FYC?
Fuck, I didn't do an FIC.
So that means now Haim has been predicted 3 times. And I also forgot that Cruz was predicted twice before.
We're all gonna have different lists.
I know. This is I'm just trying to like put it all together.
I think we are anyway, because it's just you and me. And wait, Rob. No.
I already
it's just
did.
you
I
and
did
me.
mine.
Is nobody else predicting Rizva?
No.
No.
I'm so happy.
All right. While John looks up his FYC, Erik, are you ready?
I'm ready. Oh my God. I almost want to, after this season is done, I want to write an entire book on just this category alone, because it's been the most difficult. I think this was my longest write-up. Yeah. It's like
You've been through it.
10 paragraphs in trying to work through it, make it make sense. Because there are just so many components. There are so many ways it could go that all make sense. Anyone on Tuesday morning that tries to be like, told you I got it, you're an idiot. No, you didn't. You didn't. You did a great job guessing, but this category is in a different place than really any other category, which is great. It's actually made it really, really fun. So I have in order Gaga, Kidman, Coleman, Hudson, and Stewart. And Haim is like right there. She is right there. And I think logically, realistically, I should have Haim in and Stewart out. And, you know, I try very, very hard not to vote with any type of, or as little bias as possible. Nobody can predict without some element of bias. And I'm trying not to let, I guess, my adoration of the performance get in the way too much. But she does also represent, you know, an ingenue element, a first time element. Also the kind of classic Best Actress nominee as the only nomination for her film. There's something kind of to that. I think if she misses, you know, there could be stigma from Twilight. There could be so many things that don't let her in, as well as it being such a super, super competitive year. Haim, obviously, Cruz, Chastain, who has not really been mentioned in this, and she's, you know, she got SAG Critics' Choice, Golden Globe. She's campaigning almost as hard as Gaga. She is a one-woman campaign of absolute insanity. And, you know, voters will either love it or they will reject it. But like, I have her in 8th right now. It's crazy.
Wow.
I have Rachel Zegler in 10th, and she's a Golden Globe winner and an NBR winner. That in a regular year should be more than enough. But it's
And in a Best Picture nominee.
yeah, it's the performance of West Side Story that keeps that from happening. I have Ryan Siva in at number 9. She's clearly a contender. They're all contenders. I ultimately went with 4 of 5 with SAG, which is pretty common. 3 of 5 is also pretty popular. I'm trying to weigh BAFTA as realistically as possible. But then again, then why don't I have Haim in? Haim should be in. And if it's Gaga, Kidman, Coleman, Hudson, and Haim, that will make perfect sense to me too. It's tough. This is the it's crazy to me. But having Gaga in is the Sandra Bullock blind side kind of thing for me, which is why I don't have Leto in. I have Gucci in Best Picture because Gaga's clearly getting it. And that could happen even with just that. It's going to get makeup and maybe costumes too, but I feel good about the top 3. I don't feel good about Hudson and Stewart. I can make arguments for them, but we can make arguments for every single person on this list.
Yeah, can rationale it to death.
Yeah,
Maybe
absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Haim and Stewart instead of Haim.
Maybe, but then we have literally only 2 women of color that are even
I was
close.
I was just
And
going
it's
to bring
Hudson and Thompson.
I was just going to bring that that whole thing is we're if there's so really it's going to be the diversify. Well, obviously on the men's side you've got Smith and Washington, but on the ladies' side, I mean, would it be just Nega? I mean, if
Ellis.
Hudson,
DeBose.
Ellis, sorry, yeah.
DeBose
So
is
all right, DeBose. All right, okay.
Yeah,
that's
and
good. It
DeBose.
looks-
Yeah,
okay,
she's
it looks
Afro-Latina
well, but
and
okay.
queer.
So in the lead actress,
Mhm.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at it from this
Right.
All
right.
category.
Right.
And I mean, the movie came out in August, just kind of went 0 at Critics' Choice and Golden Globes, but does have that SAG. Viola Davis is pushing Hudson. I think she needs maybe needed a little bit more than just that, but it might be enough. But I just have to look at this from every possible angle and voter perspective, and when they feel like the magnifying lens is on them, and when they don't care about it. And BAFTA noms came out after the end of Oscar voting, so no impact there whatsoever in terms of, wow, we could do that or we can do something different, which is great. I love that. We're gonna get nominations that don't look anything like BAFTA.
Who's your FYC?
My FYC would be Cruz, since I don't have her in.
John, did you figure out your FYC?
I don't have one.
John hates actresses.
No, like I guess
widely
Zegler,
known.
but I'm looking at I'm like there's I think I've told you before, I've mentioned this in our Twitter thread, like I'm just having trouble this year finding movies that I really like.
Yeah.
And I haven't really outside of the people I'm predicting, there's a couple in there that I really like, but other than that, I'm just like of what I've seen, I'm just like, nah, it's fine. So
No
we'll
new
see
films
Zegler.
from
Also
James
assigning
Good.
you Glenn Close and 4 Good Days. That's 2 people.
All right, so I'm the last one, and I have decided to choose violence in my prediction.
Yes.
I am predicting Kidman and Gaga. I'm predicting Kristen
That's
Stewart.
it.
That's
That's it. There's only 2.
I'm predicting Kristen Stewart. I'm predicting Alana Haim, and I'm predicting Rachel Zegler.
Wow.
Wow.
I have no Coleman. I have no Cruz, even though I really think Cruz could be Cotillard 2.0.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that will get me. Split is 9 returning nominees and 11 first-time nominees. I don't know what to do with this category, so I was like, let's go crazy.
I actually just want Ryan to get nominated so that Leslie Jordan has to pronounce it.
What are we all gonna do? What are we all gonna do when Chastain gets in?
I'm gonna throw up.
I'm surprised that there are 6 of us and not one of us here has her.
Yeah.
I'm just. That's more
Yeah.
just like. That's just more like hoping she doesn't get in.
That makes me nervous.
I
I
know.
think it's just good predicting for me. It's just she's not gonna get in.
I
She
know.
is not
I,
getting in.
it's kind of like Beetlejuice. If I say her name 3 times, she's gonna get nominated. So I just don't.
I'm
Candyman.
serious,
Candyman.
She wants it more than anybody except for Gaga this
And
year.
I'm wondering if
why?
and I'm wondering if that's a little bit of a turnoff. And same thing, I'm wondering also with the Zegler thing. I feel like the
He's also
ingenue
been
thing. Plus,
thirsty.
she's also has she made? I feel like she's made a couple of missteps on some Twitter stuff. I don't know if that's.
Yeah.
I don't think voters paid
There was,
attention to
like,
that.
Yeah,
Shaming
nobody
Britney
gives a shit
Spears
about that.
moments, but like I don't.
I
No,
think
nobody cares about that.
I
Yeah.
think I don't know. I think there's too many ingenues for Best Actress. So
There's a lot.
Oh yeah, I have 3.
yeah, no, and who knows? And like you said, if this is a crapshoot, we could all be right. We could all be
Talking
wrong.
about ingenues for guys too. Like Cody is the ingenue. Sorry.
Mhm. Yes, she is.
Yeah.
And I mean, my argument against Chastain this whole season, and I've never had her in, is just like, is she playing a beloved American figure
I don't know.
in a movie that made no money?
Yeah.
Like, at least Kidman is playing a beloved
Right.
American figure.
It was
It,
I had
just-
her early. Yeah, I had
Oh,
her
me
early.
too. I had her in early.
I had her in before I saw the movie, and then when I saw the movie, I took her out.
That's probably what everybody did.
Like, oh,
People turned it off and they were
This-
like, wait a
this is-
minute. Hold on.
I was like, is this supposed to be funny? Is this supposed to be serious? I mean, what the fuck is this?
Also, I like Jessica Chastain as much as the next person.
Oh,
but,
me too. I
mean,
love
she
her.
only has 2 Oscar nominations. She's not some like Kate Blanchett who gets in every 2 or 3 years. Like
Yeah.
she only has 2 nominations, and
She wants to be Kate Blanchett.
But in terms of the eyes of the Academy, like she's not one of those people that where they just check off her name
No.
because
I'm hoping voters saw the 355 and said, absolutely not. We are
That's
not
for Margaret?
nominating her.
She's Joan Allen. She's nouveau Joan Allen.
Oh my God, that movie is so bad.
Well, that
Or
might hurt
Penelope
Penelope
Cruz.
too.
Oh, is that why? I was wondering why it was all of a sudden I saw that it was already on pay-per-view, and I thought, didn't that just come out last week?
It is so bad.
But did anybody see? I mean, yeah. I mean, she'll do something shitty like Tammy Faye, and then although it wasn't great, but she was really good in Scenes of a Marriage. I mean,
I like Chastain in Tammy Faye. I thought she was great. I'm actually a big fan. Better when it gets to the older years in the 90s, less so when she's supposed to be playing like whatever 19 or something shit like that.
It was just
When-
awful.
Yeah, when it's in the televangelist era, I think she's actually really, really good.
To me, it was just mainly a failure in terms of direction that sort of like trickled down to the acting. You can tell that there's like a director who's sort of like used to a different type of me. Like it's directed like a sitcom. And I'm sorry.
Oh my God, it was awful. I just couldn't get past
that
her.
trickle down to what the performances sort of like come off as. And I don't discredit, like, I definitely see that she could have like supporters, but to me, like the issue really started with a complete collapse in just direction.
I just couldn't get past her sounding like Sarah Palin. Just awful.
I loved her accent work.
Oh God.
That was really good.
I was like, I kept looking at my watch going, shit, is this almost over? Because this is just killing me.
Oh my gosh.
she's also another real life person, and I always searching for somebody in this category who's not, and that was really what tipped me over into Alana. Just everybody else who's in contention, well, Cruz, I guess, is playing a real person. And Hudson, Erik, what's your rationale there? Because my rationale is literally just that I've had her since the movie opened, and I'm being stubborn about dropping her now that she has a SAG nomination when the movie made money. That's it. That's my only rationale.
Yeah, the movie did make money. I'm going SAG 4 for 5 instead of 3 for 5 because it's just more common. And she didn't need to get that SAG nomination. That could have gone to Stewart. Hudson could have been completely blanked. She did also at least make the BAFTA long list too. So there was potential there. They went for Thompson instead in terms of going for a person of color. She, like I said a minute ago, she is the only representation that is possible for that. That's realistic. And that is it. That's it. I don't have many other reasons for Hudson than that, but I think those reasons are enough in average year for that to happen.
Yep. I
And a
agree.
previous winner and playing a real person.
Yeah.
So I honestly don't think that the kind of like, because we're also accustomed to this sort of like paradigm of like high profile person playing a real life figure in and that's sort of like translating to like into fast track to the Oscars. I think that still needs to be applied with some kind of judgment, in the sense that to me, using that to justify Chastain or Stewart getting in was kind of pushing what that equation really looks like. which is sort of like what is happening instead with Kidman, where everything lines up to sort of like have that make sense. Because she is a high profile person, former winner, beloved, respected, big name, playing a real figure that actually people care and love in a movie that has also support in other places. Spencer doesn't. Tammy Faye doesn't.
Right.
I don't think Stewart is particularly respected as a performer in terms of her craft.
Well, outside of
I feel
France.
like-
Outside of France.
I thought it was Cesar Awards. Yes, I just feel like that kind of like rule is not just going to fit every narrative that kind of resembles it. It's not like one size fit all. It is not. So I think when Stewart was the presumptive winner, we were using that magnifying lens on the wrong person.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I do have two other reasons for predicting Hudson. I'm just gonna read the thing because my memory is terrible. That I wrote. Where are we?
I wonder if you're gonna say
She doesn't look anything like Franklin, and she does her own singing instead of just doing a lazy lip sync performance. And she doesn't even sound like her either. But generally, it doesn't matter. It's the film was the greatest hits of songs and biopic beats that are unremarkable, but that doesn't usually matter to voters. Most of the time, they just want a jukebox. They want a greatest hit, and they don't need a weird interpretive version of somebody that they think that they know, like Stuart and Diana. The other thing is that I'm predicting Respect to get in for song, which will make it the 5th year in a row that an actor and song are both getting in from the same movie and same person, after never happening in the history of the goddamn Oscars. And then 2017 happens, and here we are. Just the same way that the double supporting actor thing took 25 years to happen. Now it's happened 3 or 4 years.
right. And I don't know if this means dick or not, but also Hudson was personally handpicked by Aretha Franklin, right?
Yeah, talk about a respected icon.
Yeah.
Oof.
And so
Is there a moment in Respect where Jennifer Hudson turns to her band and says, "I've got it"?
I've got it.
Well, I've got it.
I
Got
cannot
what?
believe that is something that happened in that movie.
I think
you
she
guys,
says it more like
I
Valerie
got it.
Parrish, though.
I'm waiting till the nominations to come out before I see it. So if she's not nominated, then I'm not going to bother seeing it. So
You don't need to see it.
But if she's nominated, obviously I got to see it. So
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna
actually haven't seen it.
say that again.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I've been predicting her since the movie opened sight unseen, and now I feel like it is.
It's a womb to tomb biopic, old school style. But she does have a great moment, and it's the recreation of the Amazing Grace in the church, which closes the movie. That's where they close
Oh,
it.
so she does have a moment. Okay.
It's a good moment. It's good because her voice is unassailable, and it doesn't matter that she doesn't sound like Franklin. It's a killer moment. I think it's enough.
Oh, Hudson
Okay.
actually reminds me. DeBose, should she get nominated, which we all agree she will. We welcome our very first Oscar nominee from So You Think You Can Dance. So the second reality TV show Oscar nominee. I'm predicting the second reality show TV Oscar winner. So it would be interesting if Hudson's also nominated in the same year.
That would be really interesting.
Oh.
Yep.
She is also openly queer before the nominations in
Yes.
the show, so that also sets her apart from people that have come out or like half come out after they've won.
Jodie Foster.
I mean, come on.
Or even people in contention this year, but okay. never mind.
Yeah, or even that.
Oh yeah, Ariana is openly LGBTQ.
Yeah.
And good for her.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think we've
Whew.
exhausted.
Need a
No.
nap.
Everybody take a deep breath.
It feels short. It feels like we spent more time just talking about being the Ricardos than we did about like all the actors.
Because it's not
45 minutes of this is being Ricardo.
So do we want to talk
No,
about?
it was my fault for making Cesco like defend like having it. It's totally my fault.
Yeah, he's all in Ricardo's with the directing, and yeah, it's awesome.
I only have it getting Kidman and screenplay, and that's it.
Are you guys jealous that you did not know me when I was 13? So that you did not come to my bat mitzvah?
But we did know you, essentially, because it hasn't changed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
This is also in a couple of weeks, I think, the first week of March. There's a new documentary, Lucy and Desi, on Amazon Prime, directed by Amy Poehler.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was at
Oh, yeah.
Sundance, but I missed. Yeah.
You only have to wait a few more
Does
weeks.
anybody have any like below the line, no guts, no glory that they want to mention? Because I do.
Well, I sort of did
I
one
just
foreign
feel like
film.
it's going to
and-
be Dune for everything. So, no guts, no glory. Huh.
Like something dramatically missing or something surprisingly getting in.
I sort of did that with foreign film with, I guess it's not below the line, but a hero get missing foreign film.
Yeah,
Does,
That's
do
the
people
one I
have
have.
Flea for 3?
I have Flea for 3.
Yes.
Flea for 3, yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
I low key want to have it like 4 for 4, but
Oh,
Yeah.
me too. And I
Yeah.
had it at my number 10 spot for a couple of months until it was clear that that was not going to happen because there was nobody in the ether was like backing it. There was no Julia Roberts. There was nobody like, yes, you have to watch this movie and get it there.
My big surprise, other than a hero not getting into international, is I don't have Mitchell versus the Machines in anime.
No,
You
it's the
don't?
best one.
I have Belle.
Wow.
All right.
Is it because of that Globe snub?
Sure.
So is it going to be Flea, Mitchell, Luca, Encanto, and is it in Raya maybe?
Raya.
Raya?
Yeah.
Okay.
Allegedly, yeah.
Okay.
But Encanto may win now.
And Kansas is going to win.
Yeah.
It's going to win because of the whole Bruno
They've-
fuck up.
Yeah, they just rode that all the way to the finish line, I think.
Yeah. Is anybody predicting Diane Warren
For what?
I am.
for song? Me too.
What is
I
In order to
actually-
get in, not
I
to
put-
win.
I put.
Oh, you
no,
dropped.
she's not going to win. I put
What song?
her in and I bumped Beyonce.
Oh, you don't think Beyonce's? Oh, for the King Richard song?
Yeah, she's been
Wait,
she's been
what do you
snubbed
have for
before.
song?
What's that?
What do you have for song? Billie Eilish.
I have Billie Eilish. I've got the Here I Am singing my way home from Respect. I've got the Diane Warren song. What is it? Somehow You Do.
Mhm.
What's that
Dos
from?
Oruguitas from Encanto, and yeah, the No Time to Die, which is winning, obviously.
Just look up. You still have Ariana Grande?
Ooh, okay. I have to double check because maybe
You just listed Billie twice because you said Billie and no.
I
Time.
did list Billy twice.
Yeah.
Let me look at where's my damn master list? Here we go. Song.
Because Billie's winning.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Just Look Up at number 4. Yeah.
So that's actually, in terms of the Oscars, if they're going to have performers, I mean, that's not the worst list of performers they could. They'd be happy with Ariana,
No.
they'd be happy with Billie. If Beyonce
Especially if they want to pimp out the pre-show.
Who sings Diane Warren's song?
Reba.
Oh, that's right. Trish.
and J
Trish.
Bud, like they've got, that's a really good lineup of singers for them.
It's pretty cool.
Trish.
It is pretty cool.
Better
Yeah.
than a lot of other years.
I really hope Belfast doesn't get into song.
I kept kind of moving it around and then I ended up dropping it because all of our front runners that are going to get a lot of nominations are going to miss some things. Dune will miss some things. Power of the Dog will miss some things. Belfast will miss. Nobody's getting everything.
Yeah.
They're gonna miss, and then we're gonna look at those misses and go, oh, okay, that means that. But
Like Power of the Dog missing film editing at BAFTA.
yeah, I'm not really keen on that miss, but it got ace, so I don't feel that bad
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay about it. I have 2 No Guts, No Glories, and they both involve the same movie. Because I've never wavered from this prediction. that Summer of Soul will not make the documentary feature cut. And I feel very justified in my reasons for it. If it does, that's great. And things have changed there, and it's going to win, and there's no contest. But I, as a result, have it at number 5 for film editing.
Oh,
So a Hoop Dream situation.
Yeah.
Woodstock.
It got in at BAFTA for film editing. But I have Licorice Pizza out as a result, which is a stupid prediction. So it's probably, if Summer Soul were to get in film editing, it's probably something else that gets snubbed instead. But Licorice Pizza doesn't feel like an editing movie because the pace is so leisurely. There's not a lot of like, oh yes, that's why that's there.
Just
Like
lots of-
Belfast.
So you're predicting Summer of Soul in editing
Yep.
is your kind of nuts. Okay, so kind of like Woodstock. Okay, cool.
Yeah. And
Didn't
it happened-
Woodstock was nominated for editing? That was
Yes, it
Screenmaker,
was.
right?
And
That
Hoop Dreams was
Thelma's
too.
first
Yeah.
nomination.
That was Thelma's. Yeah.
Hoop Dreams missed documentary feature, but got in an editing.
Yes, and it's I did make that allusion in my write-up, although it is a little different. The Summer of Soul Harlem Festival is 6 weeks of footage versus decades of footage that Hoop Dreams was, as it followed these kids, not decades but years. So it's a little different, but I'm trying to make not an apples to apples, but like a Granny Smith to a Red Apple comparison, maybe something like that. I don't know.
You said decades of footage, and I just thought of Boyhood again.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on it? Who they may name as host?
Well, it's a lot of hosts, right? They're going to do multiple.
Are they doing multiple?
Hosts, yeah.
They're doing multiple so that no one person, suffers the
Shoulders.
gauntlet of the Monday morning quarterbacking.
I mean,
Well,
everyone.
it's not going to be Whoopi.
And it's not going to be The Rock.
And it's not,
Like, just keep slashing all the choices.
yeah, it's going to be Dwayne Johnson and Joe Rogan hosting the Oscars.
Rudy
I'm
Giuliani.
still pretty high on
Yeah.
Martin Short, Steve Martin, and Selena.
I'm all the way for that, all the way.
I think
And honestly, it would be better than Tom Holland and Zendaya. It would be better.
But Tom Holland and Zendaya is going to, I feel, be on par with like a Anne Hathaway and James Franco.
I think
that
they
would
would be
lead to
I
their
think-
breakup.
I think they would break up. I think they would be okay, but I think they're so young that there would just be too many nerves
Yeah.
Mhm.
doing it. And
Martin
Martin
Short
Short and Steve Martin and even Selena Gomez, there's more season there.
Mhm.
now with Zendaya's top energy, no, they'd be fine.
That I mean, and that would be, yeah, just like Anne Hathaway having to like run the fucking show. Yeah, just don't have anybody that's nominated. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
I really hate that.
that's horrible.
Oh,
It's my
God.
least favorite thing. Just
Yeah.
like having somebody, present a category in which they have a connection or a part in a
Mhm.
nominee. Don't do that.
Julia
please.
Roberts. I'm under immense personal pressure here.
Oh my God.
Wasn't that the Globes and when she was
Yeah.
presenting
Director.
Best Director at the Globes?
Mhm.
Jada
And it
Garland.
was, and she got
And
so
then
pissed.
He threw up midway pronouncing his name.
And who won? And she got really pissed.
Ang Lee.
Ang Lee won, and she got super pissed.
Yeah.
You just don't do it. I hate it. I hate it when groups.
It puts that person in a really weird spot where like the entire night they're probably thinking, am I going to win? And then they also have to host. It's, no.
They
No.
put a lot of faith that Scorsese was going to win when they had
Oh,
Coppola.
yeah.
Well,
Lucas
that's the biggest example of all time. The biggest one.
I also just want to say, bring back the clips and have Best Picture last. At a bare minimum, those are two things that need to be there
My
from last year's mess.
my
I
guess
don't
is
think they will ever. I don't think they will ever do that again.
no. I think they're
Last.
going to go back to the way the traditional. Yeah.
Yeah. Unlike us.
Right.
And in this case, I think Best Actress should be last. I would be okay with that.
And
That's
clips, and the other thing that I really enjoy is when they actually the clips of the actual, when they do the film editing and the cinematography, they actually show clips of the films. I really enjoy, and I don't care if it's like 10 hours. I love the clips for all of the technical, clips for every category.
It's very strange to me year to year that AMPAS even cares about the length of the show in a negative way, because that is their ad dollars. It's
Right.
their main source of income for the year. So why would they not?
And it happens once a year.
Right.
Who cares? It's the Oscars. If you're gonna sit and watch, what else are you gonna do?
It's
Right.
bizarre to me.
Where do you have to be at 11 p.m.? So it's yeah.
But also too, I mean, historically and
Or 8:30.
ironically enough, by the time they get to Best Picture, it's the lowest ratings of the night because people keep tuning out every half an hour. The first hour of the Oscars is always the highest ratings, and it's supporting actor and a screenplay category. None of the big stuff. I think if they threw things around a lot and did say Best Actor in the first hour instead, and like move some things around, that could be fun.
I'd be okay with that. Just not actress, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but they stick with the same thing. It's like we did supporting actor first last year. We're doing supporting actress. It just becomes very.
So, here's another question. Who do you think of the 4 winners from last year? Do you think it's just going to be Frances McDormand and Kaluuya coming back? I don't see Hopkins making the trip just to present.
Not going to come.
I don't think he's like whatever.
Zero chance.
And
Zero
then,
chance. He won't even zoom in.
Right. And then I'm wondering if why am I blanking on her name? Yoon
Jung.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think she might.
I think he will.
I see 50-50 for her.
He's got a new show like out or coming out.
I think she will go. I don't think McDormand will go.
Oh, I think McDormand's going to go if Tragedy Macbeth gets in.
Macbeth's not going to be nominated for stuff, so she's going to be like, all right, I'm.
Yeah, but Denzel will be, and she was there to give Olivia
if Cohen
Coleman hers.
And if Cohen's nominated, she, for screenplay or something like that. Yeah, I
think she'll show.
I definitely see Kaluuya
sweatshirt and Crocs.
Yeah, she'll be. Yeah.
I see Kaluuya and McDormand definitely for sure back.
Yeah,
Hopkins
is probably
no.
going to be like Michael Douglas or something.
Hopkins, no, and
McDormand should come in pajamas.
It's going to be
and she will. Yeah.
A
bathrobe, a very nice
bathrobe. Her hair kind of brushed.
It'll be poncho-esque.
Yeah, it will be poncho-esque. Yes.
Or just a caftan.
Yes.
That really should just be the rule and the dress.
You guys are shitting on sensible fashion, but you'll know at some point.
All of it.
Oh, and McDormand, I just realized, is presenting the category that Washington will probably be nominated in. Yeah, I think she'll be there.
Yeah, she'll be there.
Yeah, absolutely. I really think she will be there.
Oh yeah.
I have to jump off and take my dogs out to go to the bathroom.
I have to jump off and go to the bathroom.
Right.
But we did it!
All right. So is everybody?
Good luck on Tuesday.
What time are the nominations?
5:18 a.m. PT.
Are they on? And they're online. You just go to the Academy website.
The Academy's YouTube page.
I put the link in our Twitter tab.
Okay.
You can bookmark it from there.
Right.
I have a tab open already for it.
So is everybody going to be up? Or okay.
It's 8 a.m. for me, so.
Oh yeah.
What else is going on?
5:18 for me. Okay.
Well, at least it's not 4 a.m. like BAFTA.
Oh, well, I didn't even bother with that.
I did. It was.
I did.
Well, that's your job.
I've been waking up at 5 for figure skating.
Nuts.
Okay,
everyone. All right, guys.
Bye, you guys.
Thanks again.
Good luck to everyone's predictions. You're all going to be wrong.